Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp. Guys, good morning.
How are you?
Good morning, Jenny. How are you today?
So, Shannon Sharp,
Yeah.
would you believe the Cavaliers finally won a championship without the benefit of a Draymond Green suspension?
Oh, my
They
goodness.
finally did it. Congratulations to you and the Cavaliers.
Those are the full Cavs.
Oh,
Real Cavs up
the
in
full
Cleveland.
Cavs.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, okay.
Well, they might have been the Cavaliers a little longer than the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Probably they have.
I thought that was
There you go.
creative, Skip. I laughed when I saw
Oh,
that on
thank
Twitter
you.
last night.
You try to be slick, huh?
Yeah.
It
You
was
come
funny.
here with jokes.
It was
I thought it
funny.
was funny.
It was pretty. It was
It
comedian.
was actually applicable.
Okay.
It's all right. We're going to get another one, though.
Yeah. Are you?
Okay.
Really?
Championship in 3 locales.
The LA Cavaliers?
No, that guy.
That guy?
Yeah, the GOAT.
I'm sure
Let's
he'll
talk
come
about
up
that
with
guy.
Oh, that goat.
That old goat.
Goats we talk
You mean
about
the
today.
full goat?
That's interesting because we actually might be talking about Michael Jordan now officially being the GOAT. That's going to come up. We're also going to talk about Dak Prescott. Will he take a hometown discount?
No.
But we have to start with a thrilling national championship game. Let's get right to the end of regulation. Virginia was down 3 with under 15 seconds left when DeAndre Hunter hit a 3 to tie it up. The game went to overtime, and Texas Tech committed a costly turnover with just over a minute left after a long review. That gave Virginia the ball, and they went on to win their first national championship in school history just 1 year after they lost in the first round to a 16 seed, and we do all remember that one. Shannon,
Yes.
What was the difference last night?
I thought Virginia's experience and resilience, Skip. You thought you saw the game early in the. We was joking yesterday, Skip. This game turned out to be a lot better than I thought it would be. After checking my refrigerator and seeing that the light did work inside, I sat down and enjoyed a very good game. If you look at the first half, Skip, especially the first couple of minutes of the game, I didn't think it was going to be good. 5 minutes into it, it's 3-2. I'm like, am I watching a baseball game? I mean, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, it started to pick up. It was a game of runs. Virginia gets some separation. Texas Tech goes on a 12-2 run, and all of a sudden, we get us a ball game going back and forth in the first half. And then the start of the second half, Skip, I thought Virginia was going to run. I was like, okay, here they go. They're about to run away. But Texas Tech stayed in contact with them. But you ask what was the biggest thing, I thought their resilience, because they had been in these spots before. Down 3 with 5 seconds to produce, Skip. Hit a buzzer beater, go into overtime. Down 4, 17 seconds against Auburn. Find a way, hit a 3, down 1, 3 free throws. All of a sudden, they win that ball game. Down 3 with 15 seconds. So I can imagine that Coach Bennett, when he called timeout, had told these guys, we had been here before. All we must do is execute, and we're going to have a chance to get this game into overtime. I thought Texas Tech lost this game. Skip, the only thing that beats you or ties you up is a 3-point or an and one. The guy's going for a layup, so who cares? There's no such thing as a 3-point layup. Just don't give up the 3. They come. It's hard for me to believe that their coach, Texas Tech, Beard, didn't tell the guys, let's not give up the 3, and let's not give up an and one. Skip, if he lays the ball up, you're still up 1. Now they got to foul you. We're going to make it a free throw shooting contest. They didn't do that, and this is why Virginia won the ball game. But I thought the biggest difference between these two teams was the resilience of Virginia, having been there in their previous 3 games in the tournament, Skip. And remember, they started out after what happened to them last year, the first number 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed. And to come back in this year, they were down, 12-14 at the half.
They were.
It could have been easily deja vu again. But they found a way to win that one, and then the resilience showed up against Purdue, it showed up against Auburn, and it showed up again last night against Texas Tech. So the number 1 thing, I think, resilience.
Good points, but I'm going to go deeper into your good points. I'm going to start with a big picture point. Last night, unfortunately for college basketball, was a triumph of ugly, slow down, overcoached tortoise basketball. It's tortoise basketball. You realize Virginia played at the slowest pace in all of America during the regular season. And would you believe Virginia actually played at a slower pace through the NCAAs? And somehow that triumph last night. Somehow Virginia won the national championship playing the slowest of anybody in college basketball. So it's a triumph of the student athletes today, right?
Yeah.
It's a triumph for the coaches, because I always say college basketball is a coach's game.
Yeah.
Pro basketball is a player's game.
Absolutely.
And that's why I love pro basketball. I will watch NBA Summer League over this, but I will agree with you that not great basketball turned into a great finish last night.
did.
Maybe it's like for all the wrong reasons. They're so evenly matched at a lower level that in the end it just turns into March Madness. And we saw a bunch of great games through the tournament. We always see great games at a much lower level. Like if I'm ever switching back and forth between March Madness and NBA, I'm like, this is shockingly better on the NBA level. Like, give me this. So let's get into the NBA playoffs.
But they are kids,
right?
Skip. I mean,
I know.
like
I got it. But a couple of those kids on the floor are projected as maybe lottery picks, and one lottery pick really looked like a lottery pick for the first time in a long time.
Yes.
And I'm talking about DeAndre Hunter, and the one I watched all year, Jarrett Culver, who was the Big 12 Player of the Year. He did not look like a lottery pick last night.
Made some questionable decisions,
Okay,
Skip.
so now let's go back to Tony Bennett's slow-down offense. The reason Texas Tech kept getting back in the game was that Virginia plays so slow, they let people back in every game because they won't run you off the floor if they have an advantage over you.
Right.
So what did we see through the whole turn? Well, how about last night? Virginia had a 10-point lead last night with 9:54 left. They had an 8-point lead with 5:46 left. Well, didn't we see this recur throughout the tournament?
Auburn.
Look at Auburn. It's the same thing. It's an 8-point lead with about 5.5 minutes left. Did Auburn not have a chance to win the game? You made the point yesterday. If they had, it was a tough call to make, but if they make the double dribble call, Virginia is not even playing in the national championship game. It was going to be an historic collapse.
Yeah.
And speaking of historic collapses that you mentioned, how about Maryland, Baltimore County? It was the first ever 16 seed to knock off a 1 seed in the first round of the NCAAs. What happened after that game? That Virginia media is just all over Tony Bennett for you play too slow. You've got the superior team, but you keep letting the inferior team back in games because you're just walking the ball up the floor. Run them off the floor. Let your superior talent prevail. Well, they don't play that way. And last night they did it again. They were in danger of suffering a collapse.
But you know why they play like this, Skip? They play like this for the ACC. North Carolina and Duke will always have the superior athletes. So you can't get up into a up and down with those teams because he's trying to win the ACC. He can't.
I guess that's a fair point. But, you know, they lost twice to Duke this year, and Zion had big games in both games. So did R.J. Barrett. But they lost both home and away to Duke. So, okay, to your point. But they did finish tied for the top spot with Carolina for the ACC.
And they beat Carolina twice, I think.
Okay, now to the flashpoint of the game. Remember, Texas Tech was the highest rated defensive team in all of college basketball. So that's their forte as well as Virginia's forte. And to your point, it's a 3-point game. And why did it get to 3? Because Jarrett Culver finally snapped out of his slump in the biggest game of his life. And he finally made a move on DeAndre Hunter, who had just suffocated him the whole game. And he made a little spin left-handed layup that put them up 1. And then that kid, Odiasi, he went to the free throw line. He's a 64% free throw shooter, and he makes both ends of a 1-and-1.
And both of them look good.
And they look good, and I was just shocked.
I was too.
And I'm looking at Chris Beard like, you must have just swallowed your heart, you know, like
when they found him, I said, ain't no way he making both of these.
And he made both of them to put him up 3. So now, to your point, Chris Beard, according to those courtside, was screaming, no threes, no threes, no threes, because the only thing that's going to beat you, and he said after the game, no threes, no and ones, and get the defensive rebound, and the game's going to be over.
Yes.
We're going to do this. We got the national championship in the palms of our hands.
It's right there, Skip. He's looking at it. He's looking at it.
He's looking at it. No threes, no threes, no threes. And Ty Jerome dribbles the ball up the floor, and I like him. He was penetrating all night. He made a lot of things happen. He was a playmaker, and they just give him the lane, which is fine with me. Give him the lane and almost induce him, encourage him, just lay it up. And he's hunting the 3. He's hunting the 3, and all of a sudden, in a shock to me, Jarrett Culver is the player of the year in the Big 12 Conference, projected as a possible lottery pick, and he leaves his man, DeAndre Hunter, who's like crazy hot in the second half.
Scorching.
Crazy hot. He's made all four. He ended up making all four of his threes in the second half. He leaves his man. And then little Brandon Francis leaves his man, the little point guard.
Yes.
And so you've left 2 3-point shooters, and you are running at Jerome trying to block his shot. Like you're going to try to defend the rim, protect the rim from what? A 2?
You hope he.
No, just shoot it. Just let him have a layup. Please shoot a layup.
Skip, that goes to Jerome because he could have easily laid the ball up.
Okay,
but it tells you what that's very LeBron-esque.
His coach coached him. I mean, his father was his coach.
Tell me who that is. That's very LeBron-esque.
High IQ. So you saying this is the next LeBron James? Ty Jerome?
Skip.
Is he going to inherit the crown?
No. You said LeBron James is the best three-point passer on a three-point shot. So
he is.
That's what to get down the line and to have the wherewithal.
But this is desperation three-point passing where you're going to have to, okay, let's just say, for the sake of argument, if they do what their coach is screaming to do, what if you face guard DeAndre Hunter in the corner? Just face guard him. Just stay right here. Locked.
Yeah.
You're locked on him. Okay, now what is Ty Jerome going to do if everybody's locked up on the three-point
He's
shooter?
up in there. He's going to have to lay it up.
Because Mooney stayed on Guy in this near corner. He stayed right in his face.
Yep.
He face guarded him because he's probably their best three-point
Yes,
shooter.
correct.
He's their clutchest three-point shooter. Okay, so now what is Jerome going to do if every three-point shooter is face guarded? Is he going to go out and try to pick for somebody and create a three?
Right.
Or is he just going to say, I give up, I'll take the 2 and we'll foul you?
Yes.
Okay, is it possible that you go to the other end and they miss and Kyle Guy makes another miracle 3 or something?
Well, I'm going to live with that.
Okay.
I'm not giving up an uncontested. Skip, it's uncontested. At least if you contest it, I would have he was contesting it.
Yeah.
But for him to come from the weak side, why would you do that? You're up 3. Did he forget that he was up 3 and not 2?
Little Texas Tech in Lubbock, Texas, they got in the palms of their hands, they have the National Basketball Championship. It's impossible.
Never.
It's the impossible dream. It can never happen.
No.
Right? I know Bobby Knight coached there in his last stop, but still, it's not exactly the capital of American basketball.
You're not thinking that Texas Tech can be a national champion in college basketball.
Okay. And what do they do best? The Red Raiders? They play defense until the biggest play of all their lives, and they don't play smart defense.
They don't.
They have a defensive mental breakdown.
Yep.
It's not a physical, it's a mental breakdown.
Yes.
And then, to DeAndre Hunter's credit, he just stepped right into it and just drained it. Rainbow drained it, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you got to be sick because you're going to have to live with, we didn't lose it on a physical blunder, we lost it on a mental blunder, right?
Yes, and that's Skip, that's really the difference. It doesn't matter the level, it's being able to think under duress.
Yep.
What separates the Patriots is that they force other teams.
They do.
In situations like this to make the mistake. They don't seem to ever make that mistake.
Yep.
That mistake that Texas Tech, and it's been reported, like you said, that he was saying, guard the 3, no and 1. Skip, I tweeted it. I was like, Hunter, all you got to do is that don't give up the 3. No and 1. And you're the national champs.
Yep.
But for some reason, he got so caught up, maybe he forgot, Skip, that he's up 3. And he's like,
Maybe. That could happen, as you say. They're kids.
They are kids.
Look.
I mean, the network paid billions of dollars for this, but they are kids.
Yeah.
Right?
And the kids ain't getting nothing. The kids get the jersey and they get a T-shirt if they won.
Thanks for
they ain't getting into those billions.
They got a nice trip to Minneapolis. So everybody was raving about Minneapolis.
Yeah,
Great. I would have taken you guys there.
They probably had a bunch of juicy loosies, too.
Do they? Okay.
Skip, you got to remind them, we're up 3. No 3s, no and 1s, guys, and we're the national champs. But think about what Virginia had to do. Skip, they were down 3. The guy makes the 1 free throw. He misses. They back tap the rebound. The ball goes.
Oh, you mean in the previous?
In the Purdue game.
Yeah, in the Purdue game.
And
back tap.
Yes, and it goes off back court.
Then Diakite makes this amazing mid-range jump shot. Like, it's a hard shot.
Yes.
Man. And you make that just to go to overtime, right? That saved it, but that's March Madness. That's why they call it madness, right?
And so once that happens, and then you have a situation in Auburn, down 4 with 17 seconds.
Yep.
Can you imagine how calm Bennett is, or the coach Bennett of the Cavaliers? He's like, guys, we've been here. Think about it. We're down 4 with 17. We're down 3 with 5, and we won.
Yep.
So we good. So being down 3 with 15 seconds, execute.
Okay, I got to give Texas Tech one last break here because I wouldn't have overturned the call. There's a minute 6 left in overtime. Minute 6 left, and Moretti gets the ball knocked out of his hands, and they conclude that conclusively that somehow his fingers raked the basketball after it was knocked loose of his hand.
You like that?
Okay? I don't want to see that.
What you mean? You wanted to get it right?
I saw the one replay from the baseline. I don't think his fingers touched the basketball.
Skip, you told me that you've been, Jenny, Skip Bayless has been preaching to me the objective is to get it right.
Yeah.
They got it right. You didn't want the human element.
Okay.
Remember, that's the NFL.
Was that indisputable evidence?
Hey.
Okay, on the Saints-Rams call, was that indisputable evidence?
You said yes. You didn't want human element.
Okay.
The human element said, they said the ball was out on Virginia.
But what's the golden rule?
Okay,
if you take 3 looks at it and you're not sure, let the call stand.
No.
They should have let it stand.
They said we're going to look at it for a minute. We're going to make sure we get it right because that's what you wanted, Skip. This is what you asked for.
Yep.
Now, see, you wanted to see Pandora's box been opened because
guess what?
Skip Bayless wanted to see what was inside
guess
of
what?
it.
The human element reared its ugly head during replay. During replay.
No, it did. They got
it wrong.
You got it right.
Nope, they got it wrong.
Big
You don't
attention.
think they got it right. He didn't.
It's
He
so
didn't touch
hard
the
to
basketball.
tell. That's the problem.
But that's the thing.
Let it stand.
when-
Let them have a last
No,
shot.
no.
Okay?
Oh,
So
no.
with a minute left, they're down 2 points. They would have had another shot at it, and who knows what might have happened.
Hey, no, Skip, because here's the thing. You know, frame by frame, because that's what you're going to be looking for in these replays. You go frame by frame. And I told you, I said, Skip, when you slow it down to 1/100th or 1/1000th,
All I
everything.
told you is you need a fail-safe. You need to close the loophole just in case everybody agrees on one replay, one look at one replay. You completely missed that call. Did the world think that call was missed on the floor?
Yes.
No, nobody thought that.
Oh, no.
When I saw it in live action, I thought, oh, that's just out of bounds on Virginia.
But no, hold on. Wait a second now. You just told me the other day against Auburn, nobody at home thought he double dribbled. So
Okay.
what's the difference?
Okay, so I told you, if you want to coach a challenge in the last minute of a college game, just in case that happens, where everybody missed it because your eyes are on the wrong thing, you're anticipating an intentional foul, and you miss the fact, he put 2 hands on the ball after he dribbled it off his foot.
Well, if I'm Coach Bennett, I'm going to challenge that call. If I got a challenge, I'm going to challenge that one.
Okay.
What do I have to lose?
Okay, you can't challenge the overturned replay, though.
No.
What do you mean?
I'm saying.
You mean it?
Fail safe. So I would have challenged that because the players were saying it was off Moretti. It was off Moretti. So I'm going to take.
You would have challenged it if they let it stand.
Right.
Well, maybe he would have won it. I don't know.
What do I have to lose? Because there's a chance that
Unless you'd already used up your challenge.
Right.
Okay.
Because there's a chance that they might get an opportunity to win it again in regulation. So I don't want that to happen. Maybe a replay overturns it. I get the ball back.
Maybe.
Which they did. But I told you, Skip Bayless, Pandora, you wanted to see what was in Pandora, what she had on her chest.
You know what? The truth is, in the NFL, they just closed Pandora's box.
Yeah, okay.
Pandora's box opened wide in the Rams-Saints game because the wrong team went to the Super Bowl. You can make a case the wrong team went to the national finals last night.
Okay.
Because by the letter of the law, it was a double dribble that should have been called, and I am 99.9% certain that Auburn would have won that game if the double dribble had been called.
You do know, normally the people that put these rules in place and says, okay, we want this, these are the people that would be most affected by the change of the rules.
Okay.
Now you watch the New Orleans Saints and all these ones that stood the highest on the table and yelled from the rooftop. Those are the people that are going to be the most affected.
So you're predicting the football gods will get even with the Saints.
I want whatever. I want the human element out of it. I want the replay system to cover everything. And eventually I want officials off the field because all we can do is have the players to let replay take over.
You're just mad because you lost again on this one. That's
What I lose, Skip?
No, well, you lost an opinion.
No.
You
But
said
but now you got upset. Now you upset talking about they shouldn't have overturned it. The very rule that you fought so hard for in the
I
NFL.
told you it has to be like incredibly conclusive. It's a one-look replay where you just take one. It's a live action where you just see it in live action. You say, how could they not call
Well,
that?
everybody thought Dez called it.
Huh?
Everybody thought Dez called it at home, didn't it? And then they took replay to realize that he didn't.
Okay, but that's a bogus rule.
There
to
wasn't no
start with.
bogus rule.
No, it's a bogus rule of you have to. whatever they said. You have to
maintain possession.
You have to make a football play with the ball.
Throughout the entirety of the process of catching.
But that wasn't about replay. That was about a bogus rule.
There was no bogus.
You know it,
It
and
wasn't
I know.
bogus.
They don't have that. They threw that out too.
Yes.
After you were wrong about that one. They threw that out.
No.
Wrong again.
No,
It's okay.
Why did they change it, Skip? Because they kept having this thing come up every single week. The difference.
I mean, Des Bryant caught the ball and ran 2 strides with it and put it in his left hand because he's left-handed and tried to slam it a la a running back on the goal line. And they said you didn't control the football to the ground.
I just want to congratulate Virginia Cavaliers for winning the national championship. So that's all I got to say.
That's all you got?
That's all I got to say about that.
Well, you see what happens. LeBron James leaves and the Cavaliers win. Right?
I mean, theoretically, I should be happy. That's the ACC. Carolina's in the ACC. So.
Well, and next year, Final Four in your hometown. So, hey, we could
we got to go,
take a
Skip.
little trip. We should have done
We got to go.
Minneapolis this year.
That thing going to be jumping.
That's not your hometown.
What's my hometown?
Well, it's a small town in South
South
Georgia.
Georgia.
I always think of
Glenville.
you- Well, what do you like to say? Do you say Atlanta is hometown or no?
I
Well,
say the A.
it's home away from home.
Yeah, that's the home.
Okay.
Well, Skip has already told me that LA is my new home now. I am no.
correct.
He's
I am no.
adapted well.
You've gone from the A
LA
to
lifestyle.
LA.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
you're
no
all
longer.
LA.
I'm no longer able to claim Atlanta. So, LA is my home.
Okay, fair enough. Aaron Rodgers had a lot to
Uh-oh.
say
Did he?
about maybe these guys yesterday. Did he
Probably.
take a shot at
Yep.
them? We will discuss next.
No mercy.
Hey guys, Jenny Taft here with a quick word about Robinhood. Robinhood is an investing app that lets you buy and sell stocks, ETFs, options, and cryptos all commission-free. While other brokerages charge up to $10 for every trade, Robinhood doesn't charge any commission fees, so you can trade stocks and keep all of your profits. Plus, there is no account minimum deposit needed to get started, so you can start investing at any level. The simple, intuitive design of Robinhood makes investing easy for newcomers and experts alike. View easy-to-understand charts and market data and place a trade in just 4 taps on your smartphone. You can also view stock collections, such as 100 most popular. With Robinhood, you can learn how to invest in the market as you build your portfolio, discover new stocks, track your favorite companies, and get custom notifications for price movements so you never miss the right moment to invest. Robinhood is giving listeners of Undisputed a free stock like Apple, Ford, or Sprint to help you build your portfolio. Sign up at undisputed.robinhood.com. Now, back to the show.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers strongly refuted claims that his relationship with Mike McCarthy was dysfunctional. The article in Bleacher Report last week had quotes from several players who said that Rodgers would constantly ignore play calls, and he thought McCarthy had the lowest IQ of any coach he ever had. Yesterday, Rodgers wasn't having any of it. Take a listen.
The thing is about this article, it's not a mystery. This was a smear attack by, a writer looking to advance his career, talking with mostly irrelevant, bitter players who all have an agenda, whether they're advancing their own careers or just trying to stir old stuff up. And then what happens is the same tired media folks picking it up and talking about it. This just emphasizes their opinion about me already. The crazy thing is there's super slanted opinions in that piece stated as fact. And then there's quote-unquote facts, which are just outright lies.
Okay, Shannon, what is your response to Rodgers?
I believe 100% this article. He said something. He said this is a smear attack by a writer looking to advance his career, talk with mostly irrelevant, bitter players who all have an agenda. This is Aaron Rodgers at his finest. Very dismissive. Been saying this. He's arrogant. He's aloof. He's condescending. He's dismissive. Mm-hmm. Don't take the player's word for it. Listen at him talk. If you're not Aaron Rodgers, you're not a Hall of Fame player, how dare you have an opinion about Aaron Rodgers? Mm-hmm. They need to stop this notion, and I'm tired. Skip, I didn't go to journalism school. I got into the media after I started playing football. But the way this thing worked, the greatest scandals in American history has been broken through anonymous sources. Watergate, the big tobacco companies and what they were doing to cigarettes was because of anonymous sources. Now, all of a sudden, if an anonymous source comes out, the reason why anonymous sources have to exist is because they fear retribution. They know what's going to happen. Coach speaks out against Aaron Rodgers that's on that team. Is he going to be on that team once it puts his name behind it? Absolutely not. A lot
Remember, a
of,
lot of sources were not anonymous in that article.
and that's what,
Afraid,
and see,
yeah.
that's his thing. Oh, they're
Irrelevant.
irrelevant and
Bitter.
bitter. So because I'm irrelevant, because I'm bitter, does that make anything that I say less true? Remember, Skip, there are 3 types of people that will normally tell you the truth. That's what my grandmother told me. She said drunks, angry people, and kids will normally tell you the truth. See, Aaron wants to be dismissive. Oh, they're angry. Are they lying? Skip, there was something, and we didn't get a chance to read it. He said he called Mark Murphy and asked, Mark, who did you talk? Did you talk to anybody? Skip, how would the reporter know that Mark Murphy and Aaron Rodgers had a conversation? Somebody told it.
No, that's anonymous.
Either
Yeah.
Mark Murphy told it or he told some. How would the reporter know that Mark Murphy picked up the phone call and called Aaron Rodgers? We've hired our guy. Don't you be the problem. How would they know they had a conversation?
Right, and also quoted Mark Murphy through an anonymous source as saying that he was tired of all the quote-unquote diva stuff. The diva stuff.
And see, he get on this thing. Oh, people, Aaron, I've been one of your biggest supporters.
You have. You might have been number one.
You're great. The greatest story of the football I've seen. He's transcendent. As good as there ever been in the NFL. Skipping for the longest time, I said he was better than Tom Brady. But I also said, offered some of the harshest critiques by looking at him and talking to people very close to him and that played with him.
Yep.
So I see what he's trying to do. Nah, bruh. All they got to do is listen to you talk. All you have to do is listen to a guy talk. Don't let anybody else form an opinion about him. Listen at him talk, how he talks about others. If you're not Aaron Rodgers, if you're not one of these Tom Brady's or one of these all-time great players, you can't have no opinion about me. And if you do say something bad about me, oh, you're bitter. And plus, you're irrelevant. You're trying to make a name for yourself. Nah, bro. I hope he ain't talking about me, because I was good before. As a matter of fact, I had a Hall of Fame career before you even got to the NFL. That's just throwing that out there, Aaron.
So you don't qualify as irrelevant and bitter?
Tired media?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what I'm bitter about. Get the 3 Super Bowls, and then I might be bitter.
That's a good point.
My turn. Aaron Rodgers can really spin the football, and he can spin the truth, because this is straight spin control. It's damage control.
Yes.
By a master of damage control, talking to his guys, Jason Wilde and Mark Tauscher, on his radio show. So this was his platform. And the writer of this quote-unquote smear attack, Tyler Dunn, tried to get a hold of Aaron Rodgers, and he would not, I assume, return his call. He just said he was unable to reach Aaron Rodgers to quote, because all these quotes could have been in the bombshell story.
Right.
It could have helped counterbalance the piercing truth that I thought was in this story.
Absolutely.
Because it was a bombshell. And let's take these comments here one by one. Smear attack, that's just wrong. It wasn't. It was really well done, and it was book length, and it felt like it could have been even longer because he did his homework. He backed it up.
This ain't no 1 day, 2 day thing, Skip.
no.
He spent weeks, months.
Months. This might have been months in the
Yes.
making. I would agree with that. So let's talk about irrelevant, bitter players. I assume he's talking about our very own Greg Jennings, who sits here often on Fox Sports 1 and Undisputed. And Greg Jennings, I know very well. You know him very well. He is definitely not bitter. He doesn't qualify as bitter. And I don't think he's irrelevant because he was a Pro Bowl receiver who caught the pass of passes. The greatest pass Aaron Rodgers ever threw was a really good catch by one Greg Jennings, and it iced the Super Bowl, the one and only Super Bowl that Aaron played in. Seems like it was 20 years ago, but it was about 10 years ago. And Greg was a really top-notch receiver. In fact, once on First Take, I made the case that I thought he was playing the best receiver in pro football. Wow. Does that mean he's become irrelevant? I think not. Does his opinion matter? Is Greg a shock jock type?
No.
Is he shoot from the lip? Is he knee-jerk?
No.
No, he's a really reasoned, rational thinker when he speaks.
And plus, isn't Greg able to offer first-hand account, first-hand knowledge?
Firsthand.
So now we're going to disregard what Greg Jennings says, but we're going to take as gospel what Aaron Rodgers says. Because, see, I'm Aaron Rodgers, Skip. It is old Greg Jennings.
Yep.
I'm still playing. He's retired.
Okay. So are they trying to, like Jermichael Finley, are they trying to stir up old stuff, or is it actually new stuff. I mean, they're just talking about the way he was and
Right,
is.
correct.
Right? He
Yeah.
still operates the same way,
Exactly.
according to Greg Jennings and others. So then we get to the next level. What happens is the same tired media folks picking it up and talking about it, this just emphasizes their opinion about me already. No, it doesn't emphasize it, it validates it.
Right.
It just validates it. It was page, when we printed it out, it was 30 pages long
Yeah.
of our type pages.
Yeah.
And it was just validation, validation, more validation. So I've said this for 10 years about Aaron Rodgers, and I don't dispute what you say. He is a great thrower. I think Marino was a little better thrower, but it's 1-2, 2-1
Right.
between those two.
Right.
But his transcendent football throwing ability is undercut by his poor leadership.
And that's the thing, Skip. Two things can be true. Aaron Rodgers can be transcendent, great. Greatest thrower of the football ever. And everything that people have said about him, his former teammates and some coaches have said about him, can also be true. He wants to make, no. Well, if I'm this good, I can't be that. Some of the greatest people are some of the worst people.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying he's a worse person, but I don't think he's a great leader for the simple fact, again, he said irrelevant. It shows you how he views people. It shows how that if you're not on his level, he views you as irrelevant.
Okay? So Aaron concludes in this passage, if they're so worried about me as the leader of this football team moving forward, then why would they offer me a contract last year? Well, you're damned if you do or don't. You won once with him, and you'd made the playoffs 8 straight years
The
with
same
him.
reason the Giants won't kick Eli out the
right.
door. How about that, Eric? Ask yourself, well, why would they offer me a contract extension? The same reason everybody around these desks are asking, why are the Giants trying to give Eli a contract
Okay?
extension?
All right. Quarterbacks are A, very difficult
Thank
to
you.
find, and B, he's a really great quarterback in his day. The last 2 years, not so much.
Right.
But they're hoping to catch lightning in his bottle one more time, and is he capable of winning Sure, he's capable of
Yeah.
winning a Super Bowl. Are you going to just turn away from Aaron Rodgers and let him walk? No, you're not going to let
Right.
him walk. So he says, why would I choose to resign if Mike McCarthy is still the head coach, if I can't live with him? Well, the point is, and I hate to say this is a little bit LeBron-esque, but in this case, Mike McCarthy was a great scapegoat for Aaron Rodgers, and he knew it from the start that if they lose, a lot of fingers are going to get pointed at that head coach.
Right.
So if he can win in spite of the head coach, then he'll get all the glory.
Right.
But if they lose, he can always quietly tell the media, even say it on his radio show. He said it last year after a game, and he said, I regret that I said that publicly,
Did acknowledge
but
that.
he threw him right under the bus after the game.
Didn't Jeff Saturday say that
Yep.
when he was the center there,
He did.
Mike McCarthy sent a play in and Aaron Rodgers rolled his eyes? There are other players, there are other coaches that said that. So everybody's a liar except Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Aaron, bro, that's you. This is who you are. Immensely talented, immensely gifted, all-time transcendent great.
Yep.
But, bruh, your people skills, your teammate skills, your leadership skills
Yep.
are to be called into question. I don't care. By me, Skip, I particularly care. I don't care if you think I'm irrelevant. I'm cool with that. I like being irrelevant. Get to go to L.A. and people don't even bother me because I'm so irrelevant.
I doubt
That is not what you
I don't
think.
think that's true.
That
I'm
is
good
not
with
what
it.
you think.
But I've said this before, Skip. I did a piece on the Green Bay Packers receiver.
I know. You did.
And talking to them, and it wasn't so much what they said,
When
Skip.
you were at CBS.
Yes, when I was at CBS. It was what they wouldn't say. And it was how, when you mention his name,
Yep.
how everybody wanted to, take a little step back. Not literally, but you can feel it.
Interesting.
And I said, look, he's their best player, but he might not be the most liked player. Oh, how do you know that? How can you? I just happened to spend 14 years in the locker
Happen
room.
to play. You just happen to be in the Hall of Fame, and you just happen to have good radar for that.
Just happened. Just,
Okay.
Skip, that's funny how that works.
Okay.
They can use this technology on a submarine.
Yeah. So
Incoming.
Then Aaron stooped to the all-time spin control when he started talking about his
Ready.
relationship with Mike McCarthy.
Yep.
And he says, it grew year after year. The beauty in it was that there was a ton of trust. The trust was really at a high level. I love Mike McCarthy. He's a great man. He has a huge heart. Blah, 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 blah. Baloney, baloney, and more baloney.
The only thing growing is Aaron Rodgers' nose,
That is
Pinocchio.
correct.
Stop lying.
I
Nobody
love.
believe.
I
Nobody
thought
believe.
that was a
But
little
then,
intense.
and then we were two alpha males. Skip, if you are butting heads, the reasons are inconsequential. I don't need to know why y'all butting heads. You're butting heads. But because we're two alphas, Skip, you got two alphas in the room. Really? Come on, Aaron. It's all it's all good. You're gonna go to the Hall of Fame. You're gonna have an unbelievable season. But these teammate skills and these people skills, they're still there.
Okay. There's one thing I know about anonymous quotes. Some of them ring true, and some of them you say, that doesn't sound right.
Right.
But for Mark Murphy to be quoted as saying to Aaron Rodgers on the phone when he informed him of the new coaching hire, don't be the problem. It's such a specific quote, don't be the problem. Right. And Aaron flat out denied that those words were uttered. I find that hard to believe that those words weren't uttered.
But I'm just trying to figure out, how would that reporter know that Mark Murphy and Aaron Rodgers had a conversation and the conversation went like that? Of all the things, hey, Aaron, we're looking to have they didn't say, well, they asked Aaron's input. They said, this is who we're hiring without the input. And then he said, Aaron, don't you
be the problem. Really? Interesting.
I'm just trying to figure out how that reporter had all that intimate knowledge that if only two people knew.
Okay.
And remember, two people can keep a secret, but one of them need to be deceased in order for that secret not to come out.
Tyler Dunn, the writer of this piece, covered the Packers for years. And I'm just guessing here, like educated guessing, that he had a relationship with Mark Murphy, the CEO of that operation. So I'm just guessing that they talked all along and that he probably talked to him at length for this.
Winston Moss ain't back. Remember what he tweeted?
Do I?
About Aaron Rodgers
Do I?
and accountability?
I just think it would have been refreshing to hear some acknowledgement from Aaron that he could be better. I mean, even if he would have said, you know what, I've made mistakes.
No.
But even if he just said that, there were times I would change. There were things I could do better. I can be a better teammate. Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be nice.
Never hear that from him.
Oh, of course not.
All I know is that as quarterback hot seats go, his is getting hot next year. Because now you're on, Aaron. You got a guy that you can probably boss around even more than you bossed around Mike McCarthy.
Name the great quarterback that teammates and former coaches have come out this strong against. In the history of the game, name the great quarterback.
And still playing?
No, he ain't got to be playing.
He doesn't have to be. It doesn't matter.
Any of them, from Kelly to Aikman to Elway to Marie. I mean, name them. From the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, all the Drew Breeses, all these guys that's going to go to the Hall.
Not to this depth, and not to this quantity. Like maybe there'd be one disgruntled teammate or two, but this is many.
Yeah.
50 people lying. There's only one guy telling the truth.
Okay.
It's the one person that the 50 people are lying on. That's the guy that's telling the truth. Or that's what he would have us to believe.
Yep.
I don't know. He's going to have to take a look in the mirror.
No mercy.
We're going to move to the Cowboys because they've got some big-time money moves to make. Dak Prescott has led Dallas to the playoffs in 2 of his first 3 years, but he's entering the final year of his rookie deal. Stephen Jones said yesterday that the team hasn't talked about a new deal with Dak yet, but the deal has to be team-friendly. Jones added, quote, I know Dak, his #1 goal here is to win Super Bowl championships. Shannon, will Dak agree to this?
I pray to God I hope not. I pray every night I fall on my knees and say, Dak, don't give him a hometown deal.
I don't believe you ever do that.
I do.
I'm sorry.
Skip Bayless.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Skip Bayless.
Every night.
You see what Stephen Jones is doing? You see what Jenny read? Jenny, what do you read that one more time, the last part?
I know Dak, his #1 goal here is to win Super Bowl championships.
So if I get
Wait, that was with an S on the end of it. Championships, plural.
So in other words, Jenny, what he's trying to paint right now, if Dak does not give us a hometown deal, championships are unimportant to him. It's all about money. Now, the Cowboys are the most profitable franchise, the most valuable franchise in all of sports, in the entire world. I want to know how many sponsors do they go? The sponsors say, you know what? Hey, we're going to do this deal with you, but you're going to have to give us a hometown deal. AT&T. Did you think AT&T, they gave AT&T a hometown deal, Skip, for that stadium? What about Ford? Because you know that new facility they built, that $1.5 billion, it got the Ford Center. You think they gave Ford a discount?
Maybe not.
But you see how they do it? Billionaires always looking for the hookup.
Okay.
Hook your boy up.
Yep.
What? If I'm Dak Prescott, I'm going to say, well, hold on. I was a 4th-round pick. The guy that was in my draft was Jared Goff, 1st overall, Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz got like $28 million fully guaranteed. Why don't y'all give me that as a 4th rounder?
Okay.
But you see, Skip, this is his first contract. This is his first big contract. Dak is finally going to make over $1 million in base salary. He's going to make 2.3. So in 4 years, he'd make about 2.7, which is a little less than $700,000 annually.
That's what happens when you get picked in the 4th round.
That's wild, though.
And guess what, Jenny? And this is what happened when you perform really well and you begin to become a free agent. You strike it rich. Dak Prescott, you got a Thor hammer. I need you to swing it with authority. I need you to bash him over the head like Donkey Kong. Boom.
Yep.
Boom. And I'm going to hit you to the tune. I'm going to need 6 years, about $170 million, and I need $103 million. $103 million, Skip Bayless. Fully guaranteed.
Yep.
And everybody talk about, well, Tom Brady did that. Go back and look. Tom Brady's first big contract, he ain't cut no deal. He did that after down the road, after he was secure, he was financially set. Okay. Dak Prescott ain't financially set. But I'm about to be, because you about to pay me. I need all my money, not some of it.
What you need is the president of the Cowboy Haters Club. You need chaos in the Cowboy locker room.
Is that what he's looking
You need
for?
to tear this franchise apart over salary. You need all the stars to be disgruntled and unhappy and want out of town.
I need them paid.
You know, need them paid. And I remind you, even though the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable team in the universe, they have the very same salary cap as the Arizona Cardinals, who have the #1 pick because they had the worst record.
Well, let Arizona have some of them players then. They'll pay them.
Okay. So you can only pay so many so much.
Okay,
right?
then.
Okay, so that is a problem, and they just made a real sweet deal, a very fair deal with DeMarcus Lawrence,
Yeah.
but it was not top money. It was the 4th best money.
That's
right?
pretty good.
And that's what he deserves. So now you're good to go, and your next priority must be the QB. Why is that? Because Zeke is working on a first-round contract,
Right.
so you have an option year.
You got him after this year.
4th year, you don't. It's
Right.
just going to run out.
Yep.
And you better run in and do this deal before the quarterback salaries keep going up,
Yeah.
because they're only going to go up.
Yeah.
The running back market pretty much just got set by Le'Veon's deal, right?
Right.
And the Gurley deal. So
Yeah.
it's pretty well set in stone.
Right.
And you know what Zeke is going to want. It's going to be just above those guys.
Yeah.
So that's all well and good. But right now, you need to get this guy done. And I disagree with you on Tom Brady. Now, they went right in after the first Super Bowl, so that would have been after his 2nd year, and they began to redo it. And they redid it that year, and then they redid it again the next year. But they always kept it at a very palatable salary cap
Right.
rate, because if you look back on Brady's now 20 years, this will be his 20th year in the league. I
Right.
can't even believe
I
it.
know, when
Right.
you say
20
it.
years in the league, he's average making $11.4 million. Well, that's not you. That's tolerable.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Skip, he was a 6th-round draft pick,
Yep.
which making no money. That was like $200,000
Okay.
back then, $300,000
All right.
maybe. And then, even when you redid it, there was still no big money being made
Yep.
in the early 2000s.
Okay.
Okay, but still, has he always pretty much on schedule taken a hometown discount,
Yeah,
a Patriot discount?
yeah.
Yes, he has. And what has that turned into? It's turned into 9 Super Bowls,
Can
6 championships.
Dak, if I'm Dak, I'm going to say, can you guarantee me that we're going to have the run that Tom Brady and the Patriots have had? Because if we don't, I'm going to need you to give me that money that I left on the table back. Can you guarantee that? I don't think you can. So let me go ahead and get me my money now.
Maybe Dak is guaranteeing it in his own head.
No,
he
no, no,
doesn't
no,
need
no,
to
no, no,
ask
no.
for a guarantee.
Hold on.
He just says in his own head, I'm guaranteeing that we're going to multiple Super Bowls, plural. Plural.
Did Mr. Kraft buy the Cowboys? Is Bill Belichick the head coach of the Cowboys? So how in the hell you think you're going to have that kind of success with those two guys in operation?
Because I got Dak and I got Zeke.
Oh, you about
and
to-
I got Amari.
And you
That's
about to-
all I care about.
And you about to, hold on.
Yep.
Skip, did you see what First Cousins got? You actually think Dak's going to come in behind him. Do you see what Matthew
I
Stafford
do.
is making?
Okay.
Oh, I wish Dak, if you do that, I'm done with you. I'm done with you, Dak. If you take one penny less than Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins, I'm done.
What have I told you from the start? He's not Tom Brady, but he is Brady-esque. And it operates in the way he plays and the way he leads this football team. Because I've never heard one negative word about Dak Prescott as the leader of this team. They follow Dak. They believe in Dak 1,000%.
How many division titles have Matthew Stafford won? How many playoff games? And he got $92 million guaranteed.
Okay.
Okay, what about First Cousins?
Good, let him have it.
Well, that's what we need. I just told you that's what we need. Skip, make the money right.
Yep, you need the Eagles to win the division.
No,
is what you need.
no, Skip. I just want Dak to make. I want Dak to make the money right. He got things he wants to do.
You need
He's very
to have a
charitable.
bounce back year. That's what you need.
He's very charitable.
Yeah.
And the more money he has, the more charitable. I mean, Skip, he wants to give. He wants to do things. And he needs $100
He
million.
does not need $100 million
Whoa!
because
Why you counting that man
by
pocket?
mid-year last year, I counted a dozen national TV ads that Dak Prescott was. I thought it was a little too soon for that, but
not
that's
worried
just
about
me.
Well, how many sponsors does the Cowboys have?
I don't care. I don't even know. It
You
doesn't,
don't.
that has nothing to do with this salary.
Well, yeah, exactly. My salary.
If this were an uncapped sport, you'd have a
I don't
point,
care
but you
nobody.
don't have a point.
That's Jerry and Stephen Jones' job to figure that out.
Okay.
Just like they figured out if they want, we can do Pepsi, we can do all these independent deals without being under the NFL umbrella. So they figured that out.
Okay.
You can figure out how to give me my $100 million, guaranteed fully.
I don't know how much Dak made just last year off his national
600.
TV
No, stop! Don't worry
National
about that.
TV ads. Okay,
Football.
It's just like found money. You just
Yeah.
get to do
Well,
that.
find me $100 million.
And
Where is
guess
that
what?
at?
You know what? More than for a number one overall pick, a fourth rounder appreciates the stage that he inherited from Tony Romo because it's the best stage in sports. You are the quarterback of America's team.
Yeah, all that-
There's
I love
value added in
Ooh,
that.
I love that.
That means
Ooh.
all along the trail, as you begin to win Super Bowls, plural,
I love it.
you'll be able to make at least as much off the field, if not more.
I
off
love
the
that.
field.
I love that too.
Because you
I got a
are
great job.
marketable.
I got a great job. But I need to be paid handsomely.
You need disruption.
I don't want no disruption.
Yep.
I tell you what, give me $100 million, fully guaranteed.
You need dissension.
Hold on, time out.
You need.
Let me tell you what I
That's
want.
what you need.
Okay.
$100 million?
Give me 6 years,
Yep.
about 150 to 165 million. Give me $100 million fully guaranteed. I need $63,454,000 at the time of signing, and then I need another 20 million. So I need 80 million in the first 2 years.
I'll go 100 million, but you have to spread it over 6 years.
You think Dak Prescott gonna take about $17 million a year?
You have to take one for the football team.
I want to
because
not take
you
enough
are
for the
the
team.
leader. God has been good. You fell into out of the fourth round. You fell into the
I've never
premier
been-
job in pro football.
I've never.
You are number 4 for the Dallas Cowboys.
I've never been that guy to take one for the team. Now I had a couple of homeboys that they take one for the team. You don't know what that means, Jenny.
No, I know
But you know
exactly
that. You know what that
I
means.
know enough of what that means.
But I'm not gonna take one for the team. I need to be first in line,
Yeah.
so I need to get the best deal. So Dak, gonna get your money. 6 years, 150. Skip, you know what? Skip, you right. I'm gonna give you a hometown deal. 6 years, 150. Give me $98 million guaranteed.
98.
That's 15.
You know what? I hear fear in your voice over this because you know what's happening here. You know, this man is built differently than most quarterbacks are.
He is.
Yeah, and he's going to get plenty of money. He's just not going to get the money.
Oh, he gonna get no. I need the.
Nope.
I know it ain't the.
And
It's
you know
mine.
what, Jenny? You know what the irony of this whole discussion
What is the
I have
irony?
to sit across from him Monday after Monday after Monday, hearing how about this guy is so overrated.
I'm a little confused by this.
Oh, Dak Prescott. Oh, he the money.
Okay, so why do you want him to get money that he hasn't earned?
Oh, he earned it.
Right.
Oh, I mean, he finished second in QBR. He would have finished first that year had he not set out that last game. Remember
That's
that?
not
Skip?
what I heard from you.
Hold on, wait a minute.
He's not even the best quarterback in his own division, according to Shannon
Hold on,
Sharp,
wait a
and
minute.
you're in the Hall of
Hold on,
Fame,
hold on,
and I'm
time out.
not.
Here's a guy that has the highest completion percentage through his first 3 years. That would be Dak. Had the most comebacks in the NFL. That'd be Dak
Last
Prescott.
3 years, he has.
That worth something.
But that's my ammo that you're trying to use against
Exactly.
me.
I know.
Yeah.
And
And,
guess
now
what?
that it
Throwing me
works for you, you're trying to use it as it validated.
Hey, Dak, let me
So for the record, you have just validated that Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. Is that what you just said?
He's one of the 15th best. I think that's what he had. Yeah, I think that's what he had it ranked at.
15th
But I
best, so he deserves 15th the best money.
No. I say he one of the 15th best. He better than Matthew Stafford. But anyway, as I was saying, this is how we gonna do it. Dak, Stephen Jones gonna try to cut out your middleman, which is your agent. If you see him,
Let's just have a little conversation.
Gonna keep saying
if
stuff like
you
this.
see anything from the Dallas Cowboys or Stephen Jones come up on your phone, don't answer it.
Yeah. Maybe they should take a little yacht trip.
No, maybe they.
Just a little.
Maybe the
How about a little weekend on the
Maybe
yacht?
the NFLPA needs to look into this about teams contacting players directly in contract negotiations.
I think that's a good start. Yeah, I
You
mean,
realize
they should.
Dak has become like a son to Jerry Jones.
No,
a lot of kids in that family.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay, if you watch our show ever, you probably know by now Shannon thinks LeBron
He is.
is the GOAT, but most NBA players, well, they don't agree with him. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Michael Jordan hasn't played in an NBA game since 2003, but current players still say he's the GOAT. The Athletic asked over 100 players who's the greatest of all time, and Jordan got an overwhelming 73% of the vote. Shannon's guy LeBron came in a distant second with about 12% of the vote. Kobe was
Wait,
third.
12%?
Yeah, 12,
What?
12%. Yes, Kobe in third with about 10%. Shannon,
Are you going to have to burn
do I
it now?
even need to ask?
Is it over?
What color's the headband? Did Jordan ever wear purple? So you know who GOAT man is.
Kobe?
Stop playing.
Oh.
It's Kobe.
Are you surprised by this, Shannon?
No, because they be hating on Bron. They know it.
Today's players are hating on LeBron James? I don't think so.
How about this? I think it's very, very hard for a player that you're currently playing against and you call him the GOAT. I just think that's hard. Also, what's at play, Skip? All these guys grew up watching Michael, grew up wanting him. If you had that shoe, you were king. They all wanted that shoe. A lot of these guys still wear the shoe. A lot of these guys signed with Nike because of Michael Jordan. A lot of these guys know what Nike is because of Michael Jordan. So, you know what, Skip? Am I surprised? I am not surprised in the least because, as I laid out, Skip, you understand, it's hard. I mean, look, you do what you do. Skip, you've been doing this thing for a long time. Ain't nobody gonna give you the credit you deserve because you currently do it. Now, once you move away from it, old Skip Bayless, he started that debate thing. Then they're gonna give you the credit because they won't view you no longer as a contemporary.
When I'm gone, they're going to throw parades that it's over.
No
See,
praise.
you know what? See,
No one will
every time I turn around, I try to give you a little
Thank
praise.
you.
and
You
you-
did.
Yeah.
That was nice of you.
That was nice.
And players, Skip, players love scores. They love flash. They love pizzazz. Look at Kobe. Kobe got one regular season MVP. Wilt Chamberlain got no votes. He got 4. Larry Bird got 3 consecutive. He got none. Kevin Durant got a vote.
Wait, did you notice that?
1%.
My guy, Kevin Durant, got a vote.
I wonder who.
I mean, hold on. They should have said you're not allowed to vote for yourself.
I was just
Now, I
gonna
don't
say
know that. Skip, I'm just let me stop because you know KD get upset. KD did not vote for himself. I was just making slight of that. I do not believe KD. I do not believe you voted for yourself. I think
KD, he wants you to come to L.A.
that could be a possibility. Yeah, I'm
Yes.
gonna be a part of the recruitment team.
Yeah.
But Skip, no, it's not right. And then this perceived toxicity that everybody keeps harping around. You see what happened, blah, blah, blah. But we know who the GOAT man is.
Shannon Sharp,
What?
I love you, man, but you are fighting a losing battle here, and this is proof positive. Game over for LeBron James, the king, the phony GOAT,
Stop saying that.
the phony GOAT.
No, he's not.
And it was very telling that the writer of this piece, Sam Amick, wrote, it's telling that today's players still see such a monumental gap between his airness and King James. A monumental gap. Really?
He's still playing.
Jordan, according to the vast majority of players we talked to, has no real threats to his throne. Wow. Conclusion, ball game, sorry. I've been trying to explain this to you for years now, and you won't listen.
I'm just trying to figure out, Skip, and stop saying that. He's not. I'm just trying to figure out how does Kareem and Wilt and Bird, they get no love?
Kareem got a little love.
A little, Skip, the man got more MVPs than Michael.
Okay.
More points than Michael.
73% to 12%. And by the way, I was a little surprised Kobe got 11%.
Yes.
Okay, so he's close.
Because of the flair. Because if you think about it, Skip, one MVP, name a player in another sport that's won one regular season MVP that's in the discussion for GOAT in their particular sport.
Okay.
If Usain Bolt had won one gold medal, would he have been considered the greatest sprinter of all time? Absolutely not. If Michael Phelps had one gold medal, no.
Okay. So here's where your argument lost me about how many of today's players grew up loving Michael Jordan.
Yes.
I don't think that many grew up loving Michael Jordan. Let's just go today's younger players.
Yes.
The oldest young player right now to me is the apple of your eye, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, so he was born in 1993.
Yes.
That means that by the time he was 5 years old and just becoming aware of the NBA, 5-ish, 4-ish, I don't know.
He voted for Braun, but okay, go ahead. Make
He
your point.
probably did vote for Braun. I would agree with that. But by the time he's 5 years old, Michael is done with his Bulls run, and he is out of sight, out of mind for 3 years.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Can you tell the people at home where was Anthony Davis born? Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
And guess what his baby pen was dressed up in? Chicago Bulls. And he had on baby Michael Jordan shoes and a baby Michael Jordan bib.
Okay. Then let's go to Giannis. He was born in 1994. You think he grew up loving Michael Jordan? Because by the time he was aware of the NBA in Greece, then Michael's in his Washington years, which were kind of eyesores.
I mean, Giannis probably voted for Braun. He probably made Braun go.
Embiid, 1994. Karl Anthony Towns, 1995. We're going to keep going young. Jason Tatum, 1998. He was born the year Michael finished his career, basically, okay? Then Ben Simmons, 96. Kyle Kuzma, 95. Lonzo, 97. Lonzo didn't grow up loving Michael Jordan.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. If I go hold up a red and black Nike shoe and I ask NBA player, what is this? What do you think they're going to tell me?
Okay, but do they associate it with how great the player was
Of
or
course.
just the shoe?
He got
it's an iconic shoe,
Skip.
maybe more than it's an iconic player in their eyes.
I mean, if you think about it, there are only a handful of players that got signature shoes for Nike. He was really the first. He started
He's really the only.
Stop it.
No, come on.
LeBron.
Oh, come
them
on.
Bron 16, them
please,
ain't
I
like
don't even
that.
know.
They like that. I like them
don't think
Kyries too.
Okay, well, that's a whole nother issue.
But that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying though, Skip, see, it's hard to separate Michael Jordan, the basketball player, from Michael Jordan, the brand guy. The shoes, the Space Jams, because
Right.
he set the platform. So it's hard for you to surpass the master,
Yep.
no matter what you do.
All these young players I just listed in birth dates, birth date years, do you realize they all grew up as their idol being the new 23, LeBron James?
The real.
You know it, and I know
Real
it.
23.
He's not he's the phony guy.
Don't do this, Skip. Stop
But
saying
the
that.
point is, they idolize LeBron, and there's the way I see the kids go on the internet today. They're going to embrace their own. They're going to promote their own. So I'm shocked. If you had asked me yesterday, how does this turn out? I said, oh, LeBron wins that because too many young players.
No.
Yeah.
And think about it, Skip. All these kids they've been named Jordan. They don't say Michael Jordan. Cheryl Swoops named her son Jordan. Called him up. Can you mind if I name my son after you? Because that's what we're going through, Skip. That the phenom, it was unbelievable.
Okay, but that's Cheryl Swoop. She's not a young
No,
lady.
no. I'm saying
Okay.
is that the phenomena behind Michael Jordan, Skip, we never seen anything like this. The only thing comparable is Tiger Woods in his apex. Now, you know how Tiger was in 97 until they had that run to 2002.
It was the greatest run of golf that will probably ever be played.
And
I agree.
It's the only thing that
It's
was
also
close.
been 14 years since he won a Masters, which is incomprehensible to me, but go ahead, since we're on Masters
So
week.
that's the
14
only
years?
thing that was comparable
Yep.
to what Michael.
Okay.
What Michael has been able to sustain, Skip.
Yep.
Because normally when the player retired, they didn't make any more shoes. Michael Jordan has made more shoes, more money off shoes than when he played.
Okay? Shannon, I just think today's players are so enlightened, they're so media savvy that they just get it. And that's why this was 73%, because they get 6 championships with 6 finals MVPs, 6-0. They get 10 scoring titles to 1 scoring title for LeBron. They get all defense, first team 9-6 over LeBron. They get a defensive player of the year in Michael Jordan. He led the league in steals 3 times. LeBron doesn't do that. It's even 5-4 in just MVPs alone. I'm sorry, Shannon, you lost. It was a good try. And
But-
I admire your loyalty to your guy. I don't get it, but
Ain't
I admire it.
First of all, LeBron James again led the team, points, rebound, assists, and steals. He did that again. The man has played 16 straight years and led the team in points and assists every single year. Nobody else can say that. Now, who do you think is going to break that record?
How about 10 scoring titles to 1?
He's not a scorer, but he passed it. How does a scorer pass Michael Jordan in scoring? How is that possible?
I don't know. How does 3 and 6 work for the GOAT? 3 and 6 in finals?
But here's
it's just you're disqualified.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Why did Michael Jordan only get to 6 NBA finals if he played 14 years?
What are you talking about? He got to.
Let me see.
He
Let me
got
see.
to 6 finals in Chicago.
Okay, let me see. Let me explain this again. Okay, how can I do this so I can help you understand? Michael Jordan played 14 seasons. He only went to 6 NBA finals. I'm trying to figure out if he's this GOAT figure, this mythical godlike figure. Why did he only go to 6 in 14 years?
Well,
Why not every single year?
The first problem was he played in the tougher conference. The East was the beast.
But
in
he's
those
GOAT.
days. Okay.
Do you know what a
well,
GOAT?
he rose above it. After he broke through, he just kept going.
I don't know if you ever know. Skip, you didn't go.
If he hadn't been forced to take 2 years off, he would have gone to 8 straight.
I don't know.
And he would have had 8 straight finals MVPs.
I don't know
That's how
anything.
great he was.
Being on the farm, I know a thing or two about goats, Jenny. We had a big one. And he was the.
We're not talking about real goats.
No,
We're talking about
that's the
greatest
real
of all time.
If your real
Relevant?
goat, and see, yeah, a goat, and he didn't like anybody on that old bus. If another goat jumped up there, pop, but
He's
off
out.
they went. So if Michael Jordan was the goat, he should have been knocking Larry Bird off that throne. That's what he should have been
That's how it
doing.
works.
He should have been knocking the Pistons before they got old.
Did you have any baby goats on your
Yeah, we
farm?
had some of them
Yeah,
too.
Okay.
I mean, someone's got to step up for the next GOAT.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I would like to talk to all the guys 94 on. I think you bring up a good point on who they looked up to, who they were used to looking up to, but it was the people around them because, I don't know, my brother.
I don't care what nobody say. I can't say you the goat if I'm playing against you.
I think it's.
If I'm playing with you,
that
though, I
is
can't
also
do
a
it.
very
I
good
can't do
argument
it. I
because
cannot do it.
It's the
Come on.
perspective
The
part.
kids today think life started on this planet in the year 2000.
No, they
That's what
think it started. They think it started in 1984.
Does that mean we're old guys? I don't know.
LeBron had average 75 points a season, but his shoe ain't selling like Michael Jordan.
That's
what that
not
got to
what
do with
they're
anything?
saying. No one said that.
That's
no
what you
one
said.
said that. That. You're just making that up
All-
because you're losing, and
Go-
it's okay.
You enjoy that.
I don't care what anybody
While
say.
we go to.
He the goat in my eyes.
And you don't even smoke. So what are you doing?
Why you care about what me and the goat
See,
got going
you're
on?
a phony smoker.
Hold on. You know what? LeBron had that wine, had a good old glad last night.
I'm
One of them
sure
good
he
old
did.
sticks.
I'm sure he did.
Wine good for you. That's what he tell me.
Well, not too much of it.
They say so if me drinking a ball a night, that's bad.
Bottle might be a little.
Oh,
too
that,
You still come to work
so that's
every
why I've
day,
been
so
sleeping
that's
so
a good
good
sign.
lately.
Yeah,
huh?
That's what it is.
They say wine good for you, help you sleep. I wonder why I've been going to sleep for 8 hours straight.
That's what it is. We're switching gears, guys, because Kyle Korver wrote a very powerful article
Yes.
yesterday, and we are going to talk about it with Rob Parker coming up.
No mercy.
Kyle Korver wrote a very revealing article in the Players Tribune yesterday titled Privileged. In the article, Korver says moments like his teammate Thabo Sefolosha's encounter with the police in 2015 and Russell Westbrook's verbal exchange with a fan in Utah last month over alleged racial taunts opened his eyes. Here's part of what Korver wrote. There's an elephant in the room that I've been thinking about a lot over the last few weeks. It's the fact that, demographically, if we're being honest, I have more in common with the fans in the crowd at your average NBA game than I have with the players on the court. How can I, as a white man, part of this systemic problem, become part of the solution when it comes to racism in my workplace, in my community, in this country? I know that as a white man, I have to hold my fellow white men accountable. We all have to hold each other accountable. We're joined by Rob Parker this morning. Rob, good to have you.
Good morning.
Shannon, I would like to start with you here. What is your reaction to what he had to say?
I thought it was great that Kyle Korver had this conversation, started this conversation. And it's important, as he said, for whites to have this conversation with other whites. Because so many times we've heard white people say racism is bad and slavery is the greatest thing in American history. But they say that to other black people. Well, with the choir, we understand what racism is in America. We need to give you guys to give that to the congregation and go say that to other white people and let them know. Kyle Korver said something very interesting, Skip. He said that in the process of Sefolosha,
Right.
going through what he went through, the first thing that he thought about was, why was he out of his room? What
So
did
late.
So
Yeah,
late.
yeah. On a back-to-back.
It's
As
all-
if it's
Yeah.
illegal or something.
Yeah.
and Skip, some of us, and I've had to catch myself, it's automatically that they've been taught, what did you do to cause the cops to engage you? What did Russ do for this man to say what he said in the arena? See, that's the thought process without giving us the benefit of the doubt. Well, he did nothing. So for him to have this conversation and walk you step by step, and he's like, I'm embarrassed to even admit this, but I've had these thoughts. I've had these perceptions, and it's wrong. and I need to do a better job in my community, and we need to have this conversation. And we do, Skip. It's not an easy conversation because race and religion and stuff like this. For the longest time, that was taboo. That was off limits. You never talked about in the locker room. But now people feel more freely. And for Kyle Korver to have this conversation, and I get it, Skip, he's not the equivalent of a Tom Brady.
Yep.
But for him to even broach the subject, because a lot of times we see people that's, Chris Long is the Kyle Korver because he's talked about these issues.
He has.
He's taken on issues. He's embraced those guys that were dealing with what they were dealing with and starting in 2016 and 2017. He stood shoulder to shoulder with Malcolm Jenkins.
I got to give Aaron Rodgers some credit, too. He's spoken up and out about this.
Well,
Go
the
ahead.
thing that Aaron, even though he spoke, he said, he had the luxury of saying, let's not pay attention to the guy that's spewing this. Well, he has the luxury that black men in America don't have.
That's true.
See, we don't have the luxury of ignoring it.
Yep.
Because the problems that
We live it.
The problems that Aaron wants to ignore is never going to approach him. See, what happened to Sterling Brown in Milwaukee will never happen to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we can't ignore it. But I commend Kyle Korver for even taking this step and to speak out. It's a small step, but it's a step.
It's a small step.
100%, Shannon, from this standpoint, it was a refreshing take.
Yes.
And it was someone who was saying that white people have to have this conversation.
Yes.
This is not something that we can solve.
Right.
Because this is something that's always happened. And when you just mentioned Aaron Rodgers, I agree. Aaron Rodgers is in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Right.
That might be white NFL America,
Yes,
right?
it is.
If you're black, you probably play on the team.
Yes.
In Green Bay. So for him to even bother, where he didn't have to because it normally doesn't play, in that community, speaks volumes.
That's what I had. Skip, you remember when he said we're going to lock arms? And the crowd was booing.
Right.
He said we're going to lock arms and show unity, and the crowd booed.
Absolutely.
That is true.
And the flip side is, with your guy, Tom Brady, this is the issue I had.
I got it.
Tom was the typical bury my head in the sand. I don't even know what's going on. What are you talking about?
Right.
What do you mean, guys are kneeling? Tom, you can't do that. You got to know what's going on. I'm not saying you have to be rah-rah and I'm going to lead the march, but you have to acknowledge that there's a problem.
Right.
And that's what Kyle
I agree
Korver.
with that very
and
strongly
Skip,
about Tom Brady. I agree with you.
And on your behalf, or just saying, and what you did when that whole thing happened with Kaepernick, Skip, you looked at it. The thing I always go back to is that you didn't mince words. You said, when we talked about these topics, you said, white cops shooting unarmed black men. That's what was happening. You didn't go, some incident or what. No, you were saying what it was that spurred it. And a lot of people didn't want to deal. Does that mean all cops are bad? Absolutely not. But in those situations and circumstances, there was a reason for alarm. So for Kyle Korver to talk about white privilege, what it's like, and that most people don't live in this world. Most white people don't live in a world where 75% of the people around you are black.
Right.
That you don't live in. So when you become close to people, you start to see what they go through.
Yep.
You hear their concerns. You go, yeah, what happened? That's not right.
Yep.
How did that happen? What? You didn't do anything? So then you realize that there is another battle out there that we live every day. It doesn't matter how famous you are.
Nope.
And how much money you make and what school you graduated from and all that other stuff. And I want to give you one example of something that happened to me at the Atlanta Marriott Marquis. And that's one of my favorite hotels. And I'm standing in line at the elite line, the separate lines to check in. I'm not even next in line. I'm second or third. And the woman's helping somebody, and she looks up at me, and she goes, hey, you need to get out of this line. This is only for elite members. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm not at the counter. I'm not.
Right.
And I thought to myself, how do you know I'm not an elite member?
I might have a penthouse suite.
Do you know what I mean? But she took it upon herself to point me out in the line and tell me to go over to the regular line that I didn't belong in it. I don't think that would happen to you, Skip.
And I'm pretty sure she was a white woman.
Yes.
Okay.
And the hotel, when I did complain about it, they were very distraught over
Good.
the whole incident.
Good.
And I'm just saying, those are the things that you go through and you go, what? What did I do? And you would never face that, where somebody's going to tell you to get out of a line,
Nope,
an
you would
elite
not.
line.
I agree. I don't believe Kyle Korver deserves a standing ovation for this, but I'll give him a sitting ovation.
What about a pat on the back? Can we get a pat on the back?
Okay, it's a start, but this is just me, and this is I have encouraged and pushed for this show in its former life, going back 10, 12 years, to do as many race topics as possible, and I've sat many times with 3 black people on these panels and discussions, because the more you talk about it, the more you might open some white parent's mind to, ooh, I do think that, and I am instilling those values, or lack thereof, in my children, and that's where it all starts, is at home, behind closed doors, in white households. So, Kyle Korver, this is a small step, but it's a little naive to me. This is the first time I can ever speak. I do get this because I'm like he is. I'm a white guy, so I know where he's coming from, and I'm a little surprised. It took him, remember, he's 38 years of age. He's played 16 years in a league dominated by black men, 75% or more, 80% black.
Since it became integrated, it's always been dominated.
Okay. I don't know how many black teammates he had at Creighton. I don't know how many he had. He was in small town Iowa. In
Probably
high school.
none.
Maybe none, maybe a couple. I don't know. But the point is, it took you this long to have this epiphany. Oh, wow, we need to stamp out racism in America. I'm embarrassed by this. What? It took you this long to be enlightened when you've lived around black men your whole life? You know, your teammates, your co-workers have all been black. And again, you did kind of a white thing. All you did is make 43% of your jump shots to stay in this league for your career, right? But again, it's a little naive. It's like, let's stamp out war. I want world peace. And he says, you know, we need to understand that black lives do matter. Duh. I mean, well, come on, really? It took, okay, is this like a breakthrough? Is this a revelation?
But there are people who would push back and whenever you talk about that, say all lives matter, and they don't get what it is we're talking about.
And that's the thing. Here's the thing, though, Skip. While we're commending him and he had this epiphany, how many of those that have not had that epiphany?
That's fine, and I'm with you 1,000%. I told you it's a very positive step for any professional athlete to write this, where you can absorb it in the written word, as opposed to he gave a couple of quotes to USA Today or whatever, and it goes in one eye and out the other. You can actually digest this.
Right.
But it gets so deep, if I may. He says, as white people, are we guilty of the sins of our forefathers? And he says no. But are we responsible? He says yes. I'm completely the opposite of that. I feel crushing, terrible guilt that our country was built by men who had slaves. I mean, it just tears my guts out. I live with the guilt of that. Do I feel responsible for it? No, I don't feel responsible at all. Do I feel responsible that I need to try to find solutions to it in our very small ways on our little platform that we have here? Yes, I do. So I take that responsibility to heart every day on this show. But Kyle is concluding finally that we need to denounce race. Really? Oh, that's a revelation. And I go back to my flashpoint of my career was Riley Cooper. It was, I can't tell, this is 2013, I'm on First Take. I still get goosebumps when I talk about it, because I was so sick that man who played for the Philadelphia Eagles had too much to drink, and he was at a country concert in Philadelphia in the preseason during training. I guess they'd broken camp, they were in Philly. And he got mad at a security guard who happened to be black, and he uttered the most evil word in the English language, and it's the one that ends in the hard ER, not the one that ends in A, but ER. White man saying that word, you are out. You have to, that word needs to be eradicated from our language. And for me, Chip Kelly had to take a stand. Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, had to take a stand. Michael Vick, the leader of that team, had to take a stand, and he had to be gone. No. And you know what? They sent him home for a weekend.
No, but you see what they did? No. That would have been you're absolutely right. The head coach and the owner. But what did they do? They shifted to the black players. What do you guys want to do? They guilt trip Michael Vick and the other leaders.
And we had Michael on the show, I don't know if you remember this, but I asked him about it, and he said, you know, I probably missed that one because he was under so much pressure.
They put him on the spot.
Right.
They did. I agree.
Yeah. It shouldn't be on him. It should be your organization and what you're running. You should look at that and go, no way should a guy with that
See, that's a message sent. That's where you take a flashpoint. A white player dared to say that word, and you always say, what about alcohol? What can it do?
Oh, yeah.
Is it a truth serum? Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
So if you're capable of saying that, if it can cross your lips and go out there, then you have racism in your heart. I don't care how many years you played with those guys, you got racism in your heart. And it began to be the undoing of Chip Kelly's regime there, right? That was a flashpoint. You not only did you bring him back, you gave him a new contract.
He got a big
after that.
contract.
Really?
The thing with
Riley
alcohol,
Cooper?
Skip, alcohol, it will not allow you to say or do anything that you haven't at least thought about while you were sober.
Correct.
That's
Okay.
what it does. Alcohol is a sober man's thoughts.
Okay, so I'm happy Kyle Korver had this enlightenment and said this. I want to hear it from bigger stars than Kyle Korver. You know, it's a start.
Maybe it is a start.
It is, Skip, because and the thing is that he hears these things because racism used to be when Hank Aaron was on the pursuit of Babe Ruth's record. A lot of this was anonymity. They would send these letters and nobody put a name to it. Now these people are in 10,000, 20,000 seat arenas and they'll yell something.
Bold enough.
And the thing, Kyle had to think back like, okay, what did Russ do? Because we automatically assume for you to be engaged, you had to have done something. It's just like the police. Well, if you don't want to get shot, put your hands up. They'll see a guy handcuffed on the ground. The police still beats him. Well, he shouldn't have been arrested. You see how they keep changing it? It's always something we're doing to cause this encounter. Kyle Korver is going to hopefully force some in white America to take a hard look and see in me. I really think like that. Because, Skip, think about this. The lady took the picture with the Jaguar. They blamed the zoo for not having a barrier up far enough so she couldn't. So it was the zoo's fault, not hers. But if that was some opposite race, well, you shouldn't have got that close. There was a sign that said you can't do. That's all I'm saying is that the way we focus and look at things, okay, you did something, you didn't. And Kyle Korver asked you to take a look at that.
Okay, last quick point. Colin Kaepernick had dramatic impact on this country.
I believe so.
Because I'm convinced, and I can't do it scientifically, I'm just convinced it became such a flashpoint issue. It made some white cops who might have racist tendencies think twice. Just think twice. Maybe. And maybe they think twice before they pull, right? It's just all these things are little big things, but at least they're progress.
We'll see. And then if the good, my thing is, hey, if the good cops were to speak out against the bad cops,
well, there's another issue.
We wouldn't automatically assume because we get labeled. Oh, blacks, you're this, you're that because he did that. But a cop, that's just one bad apple.
Right.
It's hard, and even Rob, to hear you bring up that example from the hotel, to me, sitting in this chair the last couple of months, I feel like I've learned a lot about maybe it's easier to turn away in the past. So when you hear something from Kyle, at least he's starting the conversation, and hopefully more people will follow. But your perspective changes. And I don't know, I wish you could do more. And I think what he said, I just want to end with this before we go to break, to listen, to educate yourself, to support leaders who see racial justice as fundamental, and to recognize when I need to get out of the way. He's saying, this is what I can do to get better. How can we all do something to get better?
No doubt.
That should be the point we leave this on. Appreciate your time, Rob. Always good to have you. Next up, we're going to go back to the NFL because Antonio Brown, he wants to be on our show every day. Now he's taking shots at Juju, and we will tell you what he did now.
No mercy.
Antonio Brown will not let it go with his former teammate Juju Smith-Schuster. After criticizing Juju for fumbling in a key game last season, AB posted an old DM from back when Juju was at USC asking for advice. Here's what Juju wrote. What's up, AB? I'm a receiver at the University of Southern California. I appreciate all your work. You're a great man on and off the field. Do you have any tips that can help take my game to the next level? Thanks, man. AB added hashtag on to the next. This story is really bizarre, but Shannon, why can't AB let it go? What's the point of this?
He's still upset, Skip. He's still upset. And did he think that DM message was going to make Juju look bad?
That's what
Considering Juju said he admired him. Considering Juju said, I went to you and asked you for information because I wanted to become a better football player. This actually makes Juju look better because not only did he do it once he got there, he did it before he got there.
Right.
And he's trying to shame him.
He's trying to shame him.
Your boy, look at your boy. Who did he come to for advice?
Yep.
AB, that's real low, bro. You real petty.
Yep.
Skip, he's still upset. AB is a number one receiver. Number one receivers means I need to finish first in catches, first in yards. Jerry never had to worry about John Taylor. You think John Taylor was going to be named MVP over Jerry Rice? No. You think Alvin Harper was going to be named MVP over Michael Irvin? No. That's what this is about, Skip. This is plain and simple. The man is making 10 times the money that Juju's making.
Yep.
All the Pro Bowls, all the All-Pro team. But that wasn't enough. For the first time in 6-7 years, he didn't lead the team in receptions. And a guy that plays, if Le'Veon wins that award, he ain't got a problem with it. If Ben wins that award, he doesn't have a problem with it.
True.
It was Juju.
Yep.
Y'all gonna vote a man in my room that's second to me, and y'all gonna give him my award? How dare y'all? Well, I hold you responsible, Juju, because you got the award.
Yep.
What about your teammates? You just got the award the year before.
Yep.
And you had won it 4 times previous to Juju winning one. But that's not good enough, Skip. He felt it was a slight. He felt it was a slight that his teammates slighted him by voting for Juju, and Juju accepting the award. Like he was supposed to say, you know what? I can't accept this award. AB been too good to me. AB, you take the award. Everybody know you the MVP.
Yeah.
It's being reported that AB had the Pizza Hut commercial. They asked for Juju. Juju doing a little dance in the end zone. Hold on. Why I can't have a commercial by myself? If you're going to have another receiver, why I got to be one from my team, Skip? Why y'all can't get me Julio or Odell? Skip, this is so petty that he can't. The man is in Oakland, which is thousands and thousands of miles away from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
He's making 15, 20 times the money as Juju.
Yep.
And he's still jealous about Juju finished first in catches and yards and won the team MVP, and he can't let it go.
He can't. To me, this has become all-pro jealousy and resentment on the part of Antonio Brown, because he is seeing before his very eyes Juju become to the Steelers and their fans what he used to be to the Steelers and their fans. He has succeeded him. He has taken over. And the lasting image I have of Juju is he's out on the field watching the Jumbotron at the end of the last regular season game, rooting against the Ravens.
He's rooting for Cleveland.
Yeah, rooting for Cleveland. And I think it went miles with the fans because that's what they want.
Right.
And meanwhile, you know who wasn't there? That guy. And
he had a fur coat on and left at the half.
He left at the half. And now he's not there for good.
Right.
And he got everything he quote unquote wanted.
Everything.
Everything he wanted. He wanted out. He wanted a new deal. He got it all. He got a coach who raves about him and loves him. Really? And he left his heart in Pittsburgh because he can't stand it that this guy took over for him in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
At his very position.
Yep.
He's now the new darling of the fans.
Yep.
And he's getting the national TV commercials, and it is just killing him to the point that he even tried to shame him by exposing a private interaction that they had several years back.
Juju was 18
He's
years old.
He's a college kid.
18.
A professional is trying to shame a college kid for looking up to you and asking advice from you. So you shame him. So, oh yeah, your boy, you think your boy all that? He came to me for advice. Really?
And it came to this yesterday. Justin Reed, some people don't know who he is, but he's a safety. He was a rookie last year for the Texans. Played at Stanford. He is the brother of one Eric Reed, that Eric Reed, you know, who's obviously now in Carolina. And Justin Reed tweeted yesterday that I respect his game, meaning AB's game, but I can't wait to smash this dude. I can't wait to smash this dude? What? Look at this. Wow.
People aren't liking it, and they're starting to be sick of it, just like
that's
we are.
turning on him. That's players. And by the way, Eric Weddle responded to Justin Reed's tweet and said he showed his true colors, no respect for this dude about AB. Okay, so now there's a young player and a veteran player at safety, and they're just saying, can't wait to play you.
I think the thing was, Skip, I think it's hard for me to believe that Juju didn't know this side of AB.
Yep.
Okay.
But he suppressed it for the simple fact I did reach out. He did offer me some tips.
Yep.
I never thought he would turn on me. Because sometimes, Skip, you know, you have a perception of somebody, you know, like, okay, he can be a little prick, you know, hard to deal with, but he cool with me. Now, all of a sudden, like, dude, really? 2015, a message that I sent you 4 years ago that I thought it was in confidentiality, and you try to make me look bad as an 18-year-old for reaching out from advice from a professional. I wish more professionals would do that.
Yep.
The field you're going into, and if somebody, and that's what social media will allow you to do. It would allow, think about that. Before social media, Juju would have never been able to get in contact with AB unless he sent a mail.
That's true.
And then he gets 100,000 of those a year.
Yep.
What's the likelihood? So he's not going to know. He can go directly to him. And then AB try to shame him. Oh, you think your boy all that? Yeah, he might have been the MVP, but who did he come to for advice? That's what y'all boy did.
Ooh.
Really, AB? Really?
So yesterday, what was just your basic NFL beef, it suddenly went low blow.
Yes!
It went out of bounds. And I'm guessing.
Oh, your boy fumbled the season.
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Ooh.
I mean, the boy fumbled. No, your boy fumbled the playoffs away.
Yep, he did. That's what
But
he said.
AB, you should have gave him $100,000 because he took care of your business. Remember, Vontaze Burfict had you stretched
You know
out on the
what?
field.
Did
he
he-
repaid that debt.
Did he not stand up for him? Woo.
And now Juju said, man, you know what? I should have left that old boy alone. I shouldn't even done that.
Well,
So even the Raider fans now got to be
what
thinking,
I was
they're
thinking.
probably like, go, AB, go. And now they might be thinking, really?
well, just his new teammates.
Yeah.
How is anyone going to
No
feel
good.
comfortable around him if they
No
feel
good.
like he can reveal
Be
private
caref-
messages at any time?
Be careful what you say around him.
Yep.
Look like he might got a little.
Well,
Already affected.
He might got a little D-Lo in him. D'Angelo, he revealing info that I thought was
You
private.
do not
Well,
want to
he
be
did
compared to that guy.
put his coach on Facebook Live behind
Yeah.
closed doors after the biggest playoff win they'd had in some time, right? In Kansas City.
This is
Okay.
shameful. This is ridiculous, AB. You should be. I mean, you're a 4-time All-Pro, all these Pro Bowls, and you mad because you didn't win one award.
All right, for our sake and AB's, I hope that we're done hearing from him until he hits the field
Agreed.
again, because this is, we don't want it to see it
Hey,
get any
Pizza Hut, send
uglier
your boy a
than
couple
already
slices.
how it is.
Skip, don't you want some Pizza Hut pizza?
Did
I'll
LeBron
take
get
a piece.
disrespected by current NBA players?
Yes.
We'll discuss that
Yes.
with Eddie House's opinion
Yes.
next.
No mercy.
The debate of who is the true GOAT between Michael Jordan and LeBron is apparently settled. The Athletic asked over 100 players who's the greatest of all time, and Jordan got an overwhelming 73% of the vote. Shannon's guy LeBron came in a distant second with about 12% of the vote, and Kobe was third with about 10%. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Eddie
Yep.
House.
Here we
Eddie,
go.
good
Top
to have
of
you
it,
back
top
with
of it.
us. Are you surprised by these numbers?
No, because if you look at it, who gonna vote for your competitor and say that they're the best? Nobody's gonna do that. Number
they
one,
are.
it's gonna be the younger kids that. But for the most part, anybody that's entering their prime, not entering their prime, but are in the middle of their prime or leaving their prime, they all seen Jordan play. So Jordan's gonna get the overwhelming number of votes of those guys, especially if they're older guys. If they're younger, you're gonna get the Kobe's and LeBrons because that's who they watched. If you do this again in about 8 years, LeBron and Kobe's numbers will go up because that's who those people watched and
Okay.
it was accessible to them. They don't have to go on.
What if
on
they
YouTube.
What if they just believe that Jordan
And,
was
listen,
better?
listen,
Yeah.
listen.
What if they just say this is the truth?
Some do believe that, and some do believe that, but for the most part, it's just like what happened to Magic or Kareem on this list. They went down because as the older players who actually seen them, they're not in the league no more, so they can't vote on that. They can't vote Magic.
Wilt got no votes. Blackbird got no
All the
votes.
people- yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Well,
So you'll see Jordan's votes
you think
go
Larry
down
Bird
as
was
the,
better than
as the
Michael
years
Jordan?
go.
Whoa, that's
Well, come
what
on,
I'm saying.
seriously.
All I'm saying is Kareem won 5 MVPs in 7 years. 5. How many Michael Jordan win total, Skip? In 14 years.
I got another.
No, he did. He won 5.
Look, and if you go to YouTube, right? So if you want to go look at highlights, whose highlights are more fun to watch, Jordan's or Kareem's,
Thank you.
or Birds or Jordan's? You want Jordan highlights.
Jordan's
so,
or LeBron's? Jordan's.
And that's why
They don't have to go to highlights to see LeBron. They've been growing up watching.
They're watching him.
They got to go to YouTube to check out.
Go
Jordan
ask. I
highlights.
don't.
Maybe they see
The number
all
will
the.
shrink.
Maybe they've been around LeBron enough to know the flaws, and there are flaws.
Oh, Michael Jordan had no flaws.
Not many. I don't know.
Don't do that, Skip.
I don't know any flaws. 6-0 is flawless.
No.
6 MVPs,
Why
and
did it take
6
him-
finals is flawless.
Why did it
You're
take
about
him
as
so long?
close to flawless as you could get.
Why did it take him so long
Now,
to
if
get
we were
there?
to go off the court, we got all kinds.
I don't
of
want to go
flaws.
off the court. I want to keep it on the
talking
court.
about who
Let me ask you a
equals to
question.
flawless as
Then
you
why,
get.
why did it take him until 91 to get to the finals then? He was flawless. He should have ran through the big 3 Celtics, ran through the bad boy
The
Pistons.
East was the beast.
No, but no, he flawless.
Those are transcendent teams.
I mean, he like Beyonce. He woke up
He was
flawless.
the baby goat. Once he grew up, he was the big goat.
No.
Yep.
You know what, Skip? You ought to be ashamed. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm
Skip.
not. I'm just telling you the truth. I've been telling you this all along. This screams case closed, game
It don't
over.
scream
yes,
nothing
it
to me.
does. It does.
Well, I don't know who's doing that screaming. Somebody need help. So that's why they're doing the
a
screaming.
collection of older NBA players and even younger NBA players, they're all saying, come on, get serious. That's what they're saying.
They're not saying that.
This is
You
for
saying
you.
that.
This is for you.
That's what
They're
you
all
saying.
thinking of LaShannon Sharp. They're saying, come on.
That's what you
Shannon.
say.
Shannon,
First of
yeah.
all, Skip, yeah, look, I get it. And I told Eddie, that's what I said. I said, I don't care. I don't care how great a safety is. I'm not saying he's the GOAT of safety if I'm playing against him.
Oh, you can't.
So, but once we done, okay, yeah, dude, we're back. Oh, he's a monster. So that's what's going on. That's what's at play here, Skip. Now, 20 years from now, when everybody's been away from the game and Jordan has been away from the game for
what?
40 years and
That's
LeBron
just
is only
wrong. That's just wrong. If you had asked Karl Malone and John Stockton on that fateful night, and I was there in the front row in Utah, Game 6, if you'd ask them after that game, who's the greatest player ever played, they would have said Jordan.
What if I'd asked?
That was not
What if I'd
because
asked the
they were
Bad Boy
jealous.
Pistons in the conference finals? Who's the greatest player of all time? What they say? Not him. Not the one
Whoa,
that's
whoa,
laying
whoa,
on the
whoa,
floor.
Hold on. A whole book was written called The Jordan Rules because the Pistons had to come up with a new set of rules to contain that man. And even Larry Bird, after that fateful playoff series that they played, what did he call him? Jesus and sneakers?
And
Larry Bird might have said
and so
that
Bird
day.
must have been God because he spanked Jesus that night, didn't he?
Yeah.
Put it on
he
him.
spanked a lot
Put it
of
on.
people.
I've never seen. Hold on. Now, when Booker scored his 70 points, he took the L. We've seen guys, James Harden have 57, 58. He took the L. I've never seen a guy get so much love and adoration for taking an L. He scored 60, and they still talk about that moment. And he took the L, and he had a chance to win it in regulation, and he missed the last second shot. Now, run tell that.
Well, tell how many L's he took in his career.
A bunch of them.
He did not.
Yes,
Once
he
he
did.
broke through like nobody's ever broken.
No,
But he
what-
needed help, though. Everybody, listen, everybody's talking about one player, right? Jordan can't do it by himself. He needed help. LeBron couldn't do it by himself. He needed help. Kobe couldn't do it by himself. He needed help. When Kobe was by himself after Shaq left, they had some rough years. Then what happened? Pau Gasol came, Andrew Bynum came, Lamar Odom came. You need help in here. You need guys. It's not just one person, man.
Yeah, well, you know, once
You
he
ain't
broke
gonna
through,
be able to beat it by
once he
yourself.
broke through, when Bird back broke, when Kevin McHale's ankles broke, when Robert Parrish's knees broke, he broke through. And
Okay, when his time came, it was the greatest time
Yeah,
we've
once
ever
he
seen.
arrived, he never left.
Yeah.
yeah, they got old.
Man,
How old was Larry Bird?
everybody in the league didn't get old.
Larry Bird who would have came. Robert Parrish had a wheelchair out there.
But Shannon,
The
wait,
Blazers? What about the
wait a
Blazers?
second. When you put Larry Bird on the floor with Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale and Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson and
I want you to add the energy.
Okay.
When you put Kevin Durant on the floor with Steph Curry. and Klay Thompson.
Okay, we're not
Now, with the
talking about
energy.
Kevin Durant,
Oh,
although he somehow got a vote.
Did get a
He
vote
got a
in
vote
there.
for the GOAT.
Bron voted for him.
I don't think Bron.
Bron voted for KD.
No,
Yes, he
He's
did.
trying to butter him up and get him like
Try to get him to
Texas
LA?
voted for him?
Yeah,
By the-
I voted for you.
All I know is I'm a part of the recruitment team.
Are you?
Yep.
What goes into that?
Are you heading up the recruitment team?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, but you took a shot at
I didn't take no shot. Don't do that,
You
Skip.
did.
No, I didn't take no shot. No shot.
I think you
And
ruined
anything that Kevin Durant might have misconstrued as being derogatory or hateful and spite, I take it back.
The littlest thing can set him off.
That's
and
okay.
Keep him set
I'm
off.
good. You know what? That's my job. My job is to make sure Kevin Durant is not set off. Anybody say anything bad about KD, they're going to have to deal with me.
I'm shocked that Kobe Bryant almost has caught LeBron here for number 2.
Not far off.
Woo.
Because the highlights, Skip. I mean, Kobe, they like scores. You look at the score, they like score. Kobe could fill it up. Jordan could fill it up. LeBron can score, but he doesn't get the buckets like Kobe and like Jordan did.
He's not a killer like that.
Man, stop playing.
He's not a stone cold killer like that. If you're a pass first guy, you're not a stone cold killer. You're not a shooter first. You're not looking to kill first. You're looking to help somebody live first.
Guess what? If you get bit by a black mamba or a common brown in Australia, the results are the same. Hey, what you do is that you don't weep or whine. You go climb up under a tree and you just go out like a man. You go out like a man.
Go up under a tree
Yeah.
and go on out.
Yeah, don't be all
try to
that-
get no anti-venom
Yeah,
or none of
don't
that, huh?
be trying to run on and hey, I
Just
need help.
charging,
I can't
huh?
believe
There's no antidote to that at all.
There
Yeah,
is.
that's a man of
But-
He's just gonna charge life.
But if one of those bites you way out. You're not at the hospital. So ain't no sense in putting people in a panic and getting somebody hurt.
You ain't gonna try?
Just go on up under the tree
You ain't gonna try?
Reminisce and think about all the time that you had. It's your time.
Yeah, Jordan didn't need any poison. He just ripped throats out.
Whatever.
His throats. He just left. He left you to die during the game.
I wish Bron could have played back then, because at that 6'9", 260,
Yeah.
could imagine somebody like Oak. That's the Oak. See, he could have
wouldn't have been
Oak.
able to stay in front of him. What's wrong with you?
I'm saying he'd had the mentality like Oak.
Oh, yeah.
And Xavier McDaniel, when they were just laying folks out. See, you like that kind of football,
Actually, I don't
basketball.
even think, to be honest with you, I don't think that's in LeBron's makeup like that. He's not that type
Nah,
of player.
he don't.
ain't
no,
bully player.
No. See, he understands that there's more to lose than gain by him getting thrown out. But see, back then they weren't throwing players out. They let you do whatever. You remember when Larry Bird snatched and ran beside the sky?
He did.
Yeah, remember when Dr. J snatched Larry Bird by the throat?
Man, Bird was cooking him. Doc got mad because Bird was cooking him. Come here, home.
And call him old.
Yep. Here, old man, take this with you. Yak up.
Okay.
Got choked
Doc
up
said,
for
you
that.
if it talk. Gave him a
Choke
quick
you
one.
up.
See,
Smooth.
what you're missing is that all these young star players.
What?
They all grew up watching LeBron melt down. They saw him melt down against
that's
Boston
what it
in
is.
that last series in Cleveland. They saw him melt down against Dallas. You saw it up close and personal in that one. I
Yeah.
hate to keep bringing it up.
know.
And they saw him get blown off the floor by a record margin by the Spurs in
He.
2014.
You see what I'm saying?
But they also seen all the stuff that he has done, all the greatness that he has done, and how, I mean, he's been the best player in basketball for how many years? This is his first time missing the playoffs since 2005. And then going to 8 straight finals. That's something to be said about that. To say, yeah, man, of this era, he is the greatest of this era right now. So to
And it
compare
ain't
him to
close.
Jordan, if the youngsters will go with LeBron, us elder statesmen will say Jordan, because
on
we
your own.
seen it. We
You on your
seen it.
island by yourself.
No, you know
what?
deep down.
I think the kids
You
are
know
all
deep
saying
down.
it's MJ. They just know.
He does too, deep down.
He
But to
do-
keep
deep
it
down,
going,
he knows.
to keep it going.
Well, you got to go real deep.
Real deep.
Bron is it.
Yep.
You just hate it. But you know what?
You know
You're
what?
17.
LeBron is only skin deep. That's what he is.
You know what?
LeBron is skin deep.
I want you to have that energy next year about this time. It'll be year 17.
This time?
And and Chris Haynes, who's gonna come
I
out here and
don't have
talk.
this much-
I voted for Bron for MVP.
Oh,
Because
really?
it's gonna happen.
Next year?
Yep.
They need
I'll
a lot
bet
of help.
I'll bet you 50 cases of Diet Dew he doesn't win MVP next year. Right now, 50.
10.
10?
10.
Wait, how many you owe?
Seriously?
I would like
Paid-
6.
I think he's paid
6?
up, no?
Okay, I'll take it. 10.
Oh, you
10?
bounce back?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a deal.
Oh, what,
Done.
hold on.
There it is.
Either regular season or finals MVP. He can win any MVP.
Just some
You
sort of
just amended
MVP.
it. I was doing regular season.
No, regular season or finals MVP. And finals MVP pays double. So if he wins that, that's
No,
20
I got
cases.
regular
not taking
season
that back?
period in the
You said he ain't going nowhere. He might
Take
not.
that.
What if he
Take that
gets
back.
Kevin and Kyrie to
I feel
come?
like we get to a conclusion.
But you said if he gets Kevin and Kyrie, he's the third wheel, so he can't
I
possibly
don't
win
know,
it.
the fawning protected media.
Yeah,
they
well,
might-
You have 5 seconds. All right, we're gonna have to figure this out in the break. Before we got a year, so that's good. Eddie, thank you for being here. Is Russell Westbrook the most overrated player
Wow.
in the NBA?
Wow.
Interesting. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Let's go back to the NBA. Russell Westbrook is the most overrated player in the NBA. Well, according to a poll of current NBA players conducted by The Athletic. Westbrook actually tied Draymond Green for the top spot with 17% of the vote. He also averaged a triple-double this season for the 3rd year in a row. We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Haynes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Always good to have you with us. Chris, what is going on here?
Well, look, I'll say this. Every time I'm putting out, now our votes are made public when we're voting for all NBA team and all that.
Yep.
And I get criticized a lot. Players come at me calling, texting, why you give him Defensive Player of the Year? Why is he the MVP and all that stuff? They was like, we should take things over because we know.
hear
We
that.
know the players' games. You hear that? You hear it all the time.
Sure.
So, this speaks volumes to me because we've always heard, whether it was media members, whether it was fans, about how Russell Westbrook pads stats, how players get out the way, his teammates get out the way and let him get these rebounds, how they only let him make the pass that directly leads to an assist.
Yep.
We've all heard that, but that's been from some media members and that's been from fans. But for players, his own peers, to say that he's overrated means that there's some credence to that.
Or they believe it is.
Or they believe it is, which to me speaks volumes. Now, I'm not saying that they're right or they're wrong, but what I'm saying, if his own peers believe that, there's something to it. I will say this. I believe it was the first game back when Kevin Durant went to play OKC.
Okay.
When he was going to state.
I remember it.
And
well.
there was a point in the game that Kevin Durant asked Steve Kerr, let me get Westbrook. Let me guard him. And as soon as that switch happened, Westbrook went in attack mode, tried to go at him.
He did.
And like kind of threw off
Right.
the Thunder's
Yeah.
offense. So there is a narrative out there that if you could get in his head or if you can put the right person on him to get him to go outside the offense, that you can, there's a better chance you can
Good
see it
point.
that way. So I think, like I said, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but that's coming from his peers, I think it speaks volumes.
I'm not surprised by Draymond. I believe that Draymond is in the ideal system. I think the players that voted on this believe Draymond.
By the way, they're tied at 17%
Correct.
votes, just for the record.
They believe that he's in the ideal system and that anywhere else he couldn't be a
Okay.
lead dog.
Fair enough.
I believe that's what they believe.
Yep.
I'm surprised by Russ because here's a guy that plays extremely hard. I've always felt, Skip, that they get out of the way so he can get rebounds. Now, the points are easy. He might shoot 8 or 28, but he going to get the points. It's the rebound. I'm like, when have you ever seen a 6'3" guard on the block going up against 7-footers trying to get rebounds on a missed free throw?
Yep. Okay.
But I agree with Chris. The players see that too. The players see that guys, when they can get a rebound, if they catch Russ is on the way, they hold up, let Russ get it. So they're saying, yeah, he's putting up all these numbers, but they're not the real old school triple doubles where guys had to fight for rebounds.
Yep.
Guys are moving out of the way, letting him get rebounds. Now, I don't think he's overrated. Overrated to me means a player is not very good, but the media loves him and he gets all the hype.
Yep.
I think Russ is great. I don't think he's good. I think Russ is great.
He's great.
Regardless of you think the triple-double is an overrated stat now. Okay, if that's what you feel, so be it. But, Skip, that's the way it is. Once he did it, think about it. Guy told me the other day, he said, Shannon, think about the Triple Crown in horse racing. When American Pharaoh did it, there was, whoo, man, look at this, he did it. Justify, gone to the field. Ain't nobody said anything. Russ has done it the first time, Skip, he won the MVP, everybody's happy. He do it the second time, oh, well.
Okay.
So maybe they, I don't know. But I don't think Russ is overrated. But as again, to what Chris said, it speaks volume. When peers vote.
So to me, most overrated, in part, is a popularity contest or lack of popularity. I don't think Russ, and you can speak to this better than I can, I just get the vibe, he is not the most liked guy in the league because he does not go out of his way after games or before games to fraternize. He's his own man, and he does play with a rage that can be a turnoff to some of his rivals. And he finished third in the trash talking category of this. So he talks big game and he backs it up, but he talks. And it's not fun talk, it's not like silly trash talk. I think it gets pretty down and dirty. Like he'll fight fire with fire. If you even dare to start with him, he will try to finish it with
Ask
you.
Zaja.
Okay.
Remember that hard foul?
Do I?
He got it back. He told me to go get his you-know-what back.
Okay, so I don't believe I think he's respected as a competitor because, listen, I said this yesterday. It's just astonishing that a 6'3" guard can average 3 straight years, 10+ rebounds. I don't care how many cheap ones you get. It's just impossible to do that. That alone, that stat, okay, that's nothing but highest respect.
Yes.
Because you have to do that with guts and energy, and you got to play a little bit of football, basketball to do that. You have to be a high contact player to get 10 at 6'3" tall, right? Okay, but other than that, there's a part of him that's not appealing to me. He doesn't become a beloved figure except in Oklahoma City to those fans. But I think some people step back, some of the other players step back and say, okay, so he puts up these numbers, and you get a little bored with them. You get a little worn out. It gets like same old story. But look at what he's shooting this year. From three, he's shooting 29%. So that's how he gets overrated, because out of the 194 qualified players shooting threes, he's 193rd at 29%. His free throws, I don't know what happened this year. He got demons in his head like LeBron got, and he's 66%. 121 qualified free throw shooters, he's 113th in the league. But he averaged a triple-double. So those two stats get camouflaged by the triple-double. He did it again. Well, we're in awe of that, but I'm not in awe of those shooting percentages, and it may lead to voting for him for most overrated.
And I think if you add all that, what you
Yep.
just said, you add that with the fact that they're not winning. Right,
They're
like
not
they have a
Yeah.
potential. They have
Bingo.
They lost in the first round
Right.
last year.
Twice in a row. Twice in a row.
That's right. Twice
So
to Utah
Rockets
last
in
year.
5, Jazz in 6.
And then this
Okay.
year they had the potential. We're going to talk about that.
We're going
right.
to.
That's a big component.
I know
as well.
it's a huge component because he's not able to back it up in the postseason, at least when he's flying solo. And remember, the last time we saw KD and Russ on the same floor, they blew a 3-1 lead to Golden State. Right?
I just don't think he's overrated. I mean, in baseball, Skip, Bryce Harper normally wins.
Yep.
I do think he's overrated. I don't think he's as good as a
I'll
lot
buy
of the other
that.
players.
I agree.
But Russ is as good as any point guard that we currently have in the league. Now, he does it a different way. But to say he's overrated, I'm like, but the players used to vote for the MVP. They took it away from the players because the players had bias.
Yeah.
But the players saying the media has bias.
Well,
Which is it?
somebody got to vote. Somebody gotta, we just want,
lot of hats.
just put the MVP award out there, the first one to get it. But I think until maybe 79, 80, the players voted because the year that Wilt was 50-25, he didn't win the MVP.
Yep.
Bill Russell did because his team
Yep.
won the championship.
Yes, won. Yeah.
Right. So the players used to vote, Skip. And then everybody, man, he voted, man, that's his homeboy, they good friends, and they voted for this.
Okay, my all-time player versus media session was Kevin Durant's All-Star Weekend session.
Is that New York,
After
I
he
believe?
won the MVP, were you there? I don't know if you
I
were
was
there.
there, yeah.
Okay, and he takes off on the media saying, "You guys don't know, you know what, about basketball. You guys had just voted him the
Right.
MVP the year before, and you are literally biting the hands that fed you the MVP."
And that's when you should have stood up, Chris, and say, you're right, KD. We should have voted LeBron because we don't know nothing. Had we known what we're supposed to know, we'd have voted for LeBron.
And just for the record, I will say I don't agree with this. I don't agree
No.
with Russell Westbrook being
I don't
overrated.
either.
But I think what it does, it speaks to how the players feel about how he accumulates his numbers and the fact that his team hasn't had a lot of success
Okay.
since KD has left.
And by the way, just for the record, LeBron James got 4% of the vote for overrated.
I knew he'd
You
add
believe
that
in
in there.
that?
No.
What is it? It's
He
coming to
overrated.
this?
Really, Skip?
Wait.
Really?
You know what? Now he is King Emeritus.
How we get to
Right.
LeBron? It's Westbrook on that screen right there.
He
Put Bron up.
do you believe it? Huh? Do you believe that, Skip?
I believe.
You
that,
believe LeBron?
I believe that 4% of the voters said LeBron James is the most overrated player in the
But
league.
also, but 12% of the players said he the GOAT.
Okay.
So the GOAT overrated, huh?
73% said Jordan was.
Well, me and Chris
gonna hold on
Haynes,
to that
we
4%.
agree that LeBron the GOAT.
Okay, we're going to stay talking about Russ. And you mentioned it a little bit. Should the Warriors be scared of a first-round matchup with the Thunder? Would they fear them? We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
The NBA season ends tomorrow, and basically none of the first-round matchups are set. The Thunder host the Rockets in a huge matchup tonight. OKC is in a fight with the Spurs and Clippers to avoid the 8th seed, and a first-round matchup with Golden State. And Houston still has a chance to get the 2 seed. Chris Haynes still with us this morning. Chris, who will end up having to play the Warriors in the first round?
Whew. Okay, look, I'll say this.
Who you got?
My brain is telling me that just it's going to be the Clippers. You know, it's just telling me that just from where the standings are right now.
Yep.
The last game they have is Utah at home on Wednesday. I'll be at that game covering that. But look, man, we were talking about them a little bit. OKC Thunder. They've kind of plummeted over the last month or so of this season.
have.
They have 2 games remaining against 2 tough opponents. I believe it's
Houston and Milwaukee.
Houston, Milwaukee. Now, the only saving grace for OKC is that Milwaukee might be resting all their
Agreed.
players.
Okay.
Yep.
So that may get them out of the hole of facing the champs. So I'm going to lean towards saying the Clippers, the Spurs, San Antonio, 7th seed right now. They have Dallas at home. They'll take care of that. That's no problem. So I'm leaning towards. Whoa!
I don't know.
You don't think with a decisive game like that, you don't think they can handle Dallas?
I remember a few years back when they had a game number 82 at New Orleans. My Spurs did, and they blew it against the woeful.
Did you see what
Pelicans.
Anthony Davis did to him?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
They got one of
You
them
know
in
what? They've plummeted that night from the 2 seed to the 6 seed, and they had to play the Clippers with the Clippers having home court, and Chris Paul beat them in Game 7, knocked them out.
Well,
okay?
Skip feeling some type of way about that. All
I
right.
got a big type of way.
Okay, all right. Well, that's fine. Okay.
And remember,
That's valid.
Dallas, San Antonio, they're longtime arch rivals, and it would be just like Dallas, which, remember, Dallas won 8 days ago at Philly. They won by 20. They're capable. They are capable. San Antonio's 3-0 against them, but it wouldn't shock me if they went in there and just ruined it for them.
Nobody wants to play Golden State, Skip.
No.
I think that's enough motivation
Especially
to get
San
them out.
Antonio.
Right. And the thing is, you're trying to avoid Golden State into the Western Conference Finals. So you don't want to open up with them, and you don't want to get them in the second
You do
round.
not.
I agree with you. I believe the Clippers, who they host, the Clippers host Utah Wednesday night, you mentioned. The thing is, everybody's really jockeying, Skip. If you look at the top, now the Rockets are a half game behind the Nuggets. The Nuggets have 2 games.
Yep.
Denver, Rockets have 1. If the Rockets win and the Nuggets lose a game, Houston goes to the 2 slot.
Okay.
Now, if I'm somebody, I'm trying to avoid Houston because I really want Denver because Denver's been on some bull jive lately too, Skip. So San Antonio's like, yeah, I kind of want to stay in the 2 spot, but the 7 spot, but only if Denver stays in the 2 spot because I want that 2-7 matchup. I don't think San Antonio want old Hard, no Beard.
San Antonio wants the beard.
Oh, they want it?
Yep.
They
James
do.
Harden, you hear that?
We want the beard. I'm good. I'm good.
Did you
So
see-
I want to get revenge on what happened a couple of weeks back. Do you remember that one? When James went,
Yeah.
he tied his career high with 61. I watched the whole game.
Oh, he started cooking,
But
too.
we had him.
I know
We were
you-
in
you
control.
fouled him.
We're up 6 with 4 minutes left, and we could see this play. It was
DeRozan.
the most outrageous call I've ever seen.
Rosen caught him with a bow.
Oh, he caught him with an air bow. He caught him with an
He
air
caught him with a
bow.
bow, Chris.
Yeah, it was an air bow. It was the worst call. And they called it offensive foul on,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
DeMar DeRozan,
they
and he
did.
made the basket.
Yeah.
We're going to be up 8, and they wipe it clean, and here comes James, and he makes like 3 threes down the stretch to get to 61. And that would have tied the season series at 2-all, so I'm good with the Rockets.
Well, and it's good that you want the Rockets, but do the actual members of the San Antonio Spurs want the Rockets?
I
No, they
speak
won't
for
do it.
them.
They won't.
They won't
That's
do
what
it.
I'm
They won't
saying.
do it.
Remember what time happened about, what was it, 8-9 days ago? They went to Denver and just got obliterated. Yep. I don't love that one.
Utah probably want to stay in that 5 spot. They want, all things being equal, we take our chances with Portland.
Yep. So you know what I want to see? This is just the fan in me. I think I give nobody a great shot of knocking out Golden State in round 1, but I do give Russ and company.
You want
a
OKC,
shot.
Golden State.
Yeah.
I do.
No, I give
because
you
it's
that.
just Russell Westbrook.
I give you that.
I'm sorry, it just is. And with Paul George and Steven Adams, they're having career years. So could they go steal game 1 at Oakland? Yeah, they could, and then we'd see what happened.
Man, you must be on some bull jive.
Well,
It's the Warriors in 5.
Well, I'm just 5. But you're giving them. It's not a sweep.
But
then.
that might be the most compelling series.
It
That-
would be.
And the 5 is considered going the distance. When you talk about those two.
Beard gonna take them the distance. They go the distance with the Rockets. Beard.
Which one are you talking about? I'm
No,
talking about
Golden
Oklahoma
State.
City and
No,
Golden
I'm saying Golden State will beat the Thunder in 5, and if they go with the Rockets, it's going 7 games.
Possibly. Before I just dismiss, I got to give a shout out. Quinn Cook of the Golden State Warriors, big fan of y'all. So I told
Really?
him I told him
Wow.
I'll give y'all a shot.
What about
watched them
KD?
the other
KD a big fan of ours too?
Hey man, I got to get y'all in a room together, man.
You know,
I got to
Stop
get y'all in a
trying
room
so
together.
hard.
I got to get y'all in a room together, man.
seriously, Quinn Cook is really playing at a high level.
Yeah,
he
man.
helps them a lot, man.
He's come a long way. A guy who undrafted, two-way player, worked his way up, and
Yeah.
now is playing on
Yeah, he played good ball.
He's smart.
good
He
kid.
can shoot it, and he is. Really
I like the
good.
Warriors.
You know, Duke could have used him this year, right?
Yeah. Duke could have used Marvin Bagley. Could have used some coaching too down the stretch.
I think Oklahoma City could take Golden State to 7.
Woo!
I do.
In the first round.
Yes.
Man,
Woo!
I do. Remember, I said this.
I'm going to.
Yes, thank you very much.
Golden
7
State.
games.
Golden State will spend at most 3 days
Yeah.
in OKC.
You got Russ KD again.
Yeah, they'll take
he
him to
would
7.
be on a tear.
They'll take him to 7, all right. 7 o'clock tip.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
That's
That would
about
be
it.
7
That's
would be
about
okay.
it.
You know good well, Skip. He couldn't even get past
I just got
Utah
a
and Donovan
feeling.
Mitchell.
I just got a feeling. I know
No, you
Paul
know what?
George went completely south.
Hey, CBS.
Remember what happened in that game? Paul George didn't score a basket after the first 5 minutes of the
Yeah.
game, right? Okay.
What is it that makes you feel good?
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. I've
You
been
mentioned
watching them,
feeling.
and I agree. They've been struggling, but all the components are there. When they're good, they're really good.
They're on.
Did you?
They have firepower.
Do you see those 2 guys in that screen?
Yeah.
For Golden State?
And there's a couple more, too.
Yeah. Did you see those 2 guys in that screen?
Do you realize what? Do you realize what number 0 in the blue thinks of 35?
Yeah.
Do you realize what he thinks of?
I think it's vice versa.
Hey, what about Boogie? What they gonna do about Boogie?
Steven Adams can handle Boogie. Come on. Hey, Ken.
Okay. What about Clay?
Yeah.
What about Clay?
We can just go on and on with matchups. I'm just saying, if Russell Westbrook goes on a tear like he did on Nipsey Hussle night, remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, when he goes on one of those, you better look out.
Who's more apt to drop 40, Russ or KD and Steph? Which one is more likely?
All right, you got me, but which team has looked vulnerable this year? Golden State has. I got it. But when Oklahoma City is on a roll, they can roll with anybody.
You got to be. See, we've seen teams go to the Oracle and beat them by 25, 30. But you got to beat them 4 times in 2 weeks.
That's hard to do.
Good luck with that
But
one.
maybe after Russ was voted
Hey, you know what?
overrated,
He will not love that.
He'll have something to prove.
That will fuel his fire.
Okay.
When his fire rages, it rages like nobody's.
We'll
in
put
the
some
league.
dew on this and pull that fire. Put some dew on
Still,
that.
we got to wait and see where it
Let's
goes.
do it.
Yeah.
We'll see how many points you're going to give me.
No, you got no point.
Oh, yeah, we got
Chris,
good points.
good
here.
to have you.
Yeah, always,
You always make it
always.
interesting
Always
around
try to
here.
get us.
Is Skip's old friend Kawhi still the best
I don't call him
defensive
by his
player
name.
in the NBA? I can't believe I said friend. We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Skip, I am sorry about this, but Kawhi Leonard is the NBA's best defender according to a poll
Baloney.
of current players conducted by The Athletic. Heard you say that. Kawhi received over 30% of the vote despite only playing 59 games this season.
What?
Shannon,
What?
I'll start with you. Do you agree?
I agree, Skip. I ain't got no problem with it. And he should be the best defender. He's well rested when he's out there
Very
on the
well
court.
rested.
He's off.
He is well rested. Yeah.
He's off every other night, so
Yeah.
he should be good. So, but Skip, I mean, come on now. I get it. He did you said he did your team wrong. I think he was really hurt.
What he did to my team is indefensible.
I think he had a tendinosis in that thigh, and it's starting to heal up right
Thigh
there.
bruise, tendinosis.
30% of the vote.
Yeah,
Best defender in
yeah.
basketball.
The best defender in basketball is now Derek White of the Spurs. He's the best perimeter.
He ain't getting no real votes.
Oh, I know, but he was number one in Kevin Pelton's. He was at the point guard,
I thought
all
you said
defense.
I thought you said you like the players vote.
Yeah.
The players voted Patrick Beverly number 4.
I think Kevin Pelton.
Mr. 94
expert.
feet.
Yeah. So number 2 will always be number 2 to me. And unfortunately, these players are just giving him the defensive award on reputation.
No.
He doesn't live up to
Yes,
it
he does.
anymore. That's a thing of the San Antonio past.
But Skip, you know what? Hold up, don't be so harsh. He might come back like LeBron. You remember LeBron went back to Cleveland. Kawhi might go back
He
to San
will
Antonio.
never come back.
He might.
He is unwanted in San
Don't do
Antonio.
that, Skip.
He can't set foot
There's
inside.
no way that would happen.
When the claw,
Yeah.
you see them new shoes? He got them New Balance. When he locks in, Skip. When he
New
locks
Balance?
in, yeah. When he
great.
locks in,
Yeah.
ain't nobody going nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, he locking everything down.
I'm very happy with Derek White, and next year I'll have DeJounte Murray back off his injury, and he's one of the top perimeter defenders. And all of a sudden, San Antonio will have the best
Paul
defense.
George coming.
Yeah.
Paul George.
He's
if
arrived.
Paul George doesn't win defensive player of the year, I need.
I'll buy
Sorry,
that.
we had to end
I'm
the
gonna
show
talk
with
about
number 2 discussion.
No mercy.
Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.